What's up, guys? AWO here. We're gonna we're gonna get into this in a bit, guys. I just have stuff to do right now. Um, but yeah, and I'll be setting invites. But here's the topic. Take a look. Where is the topic? Here's the topic. Um, come up with reasons why for not just these characters, but overall like other characters. But I think these are the five main, most popular ones, in my opinion. And then I'll be inviting people on. Just give me a few minutes. Okay? Just give me a few minutes. All right. Okay. I think I did what I needed to do. Okay. So, how are you guys doing? How are all of you, how are my listeners doing, first and foremost? Whoops. All right. How y'all doing? I'm sending invites now. George, incoming invite for you, George. This looking for you right now. I know I have your DMs. George. Um, so it's 4 p.m. Eastern time. Let's try to end it between 5:30 and 6, okay? So I could play Elden Ring for a bit and get my ass whipped over and over again. Die, you know. Because I'm pretty much good for in that game. Dying. You know, and yeah. So yeah. Waiting for people to get on. Max, if you're free, you could come on. And if I cough, man. I mean sneeze, not coughing, sneezing. All right, so okay. I just want to see something. You know, I'll post. So obviously, like guys, usually Saturdays are my review streams, but since there's nothing for me to review, this Saturday is gonna be about rogue galleries. Next Saturday is gonna be a review stream, and next Saturday as well, it's gonna be the Batman spoiler review stream next Saturday. So same rules apply to that stream like they did to Peacemaker. The rules are if you want to be on the panel, Make sure you see the film. Then we can discuss it all together, whoever comes on. So next Saturday, 3:30, 4 p.m., whatever, around this time, the Batman spoiler review stream, starting me, and whoever else comes on. But like I said, I do this for. I'm gonna say this for all review streams. Make sure you've seen the movie and the shows. And here we have George. First, never
Hey,
today. Welcome aboard, George.
hey, Aaron, how's it going?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing fine.
I hope you could make it for the stream next week. I know you're seeing an afternoon show, so maybe there's a chance. What time's the show next week you reserved for?
The 12:15 show.
12:15 is 3 hours, so it's 3:15. How long does it take you to get there?
Usually, like, I mean, the walk's not usually that bad, but sometimes I also take the bus. If
Okay.
possible, I might come onto the stream later if like I get home in time. So I'm probably not gonna be there for the beginning.
Yeah, we're gonna. We'll probably. I'll probably start around 4 again tomorrow. Next week, 3:45 to 4 tomorrow. Next week. Oh, why am I saying tomorrow? I'm not doing a stream tomorrow. What's up, Lion Bro? I sent you a link, by the way, because I noticed that you're gonna join. But you know my rule for review streams, right? Like, make sure
Yeah,
you're seeing.
yeah, absolutely, because like we everyone should be involved in the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, since this week, there's nothing to going on for that. So this week is differently. This is a different thing. I think the Batman is gonna be split review. Obviously, the Batman, and I think Moon Knight. Like it's gonna be the Batman, and then for about 2 weeks after that, 2 or 3 weeks, it's gonna be like this for like today, and then when Moon Knight comes out, Moon Knight the next Saturdays for Moon Knight will be spoiler review shows, and maybe I'll do it for Kenobi. I mean, I haven't done it for Star Wars, but I might do it for Kenobi, and then I'll definitely do it. I might do it for Morbius. Morbius is a question mark for me. Might do. I'm gonna see Morbius, but I'm gonna admit on here. I don't know if I'm gonna see it in the theater.
Honestly, like unless like it has like very high implications for like the Sony
Yeah,
Spider Verse, like because like the thing with Morbius that's so confusing is like it's got elements from all three Spider-Man universes. So like no one really knows like does it like take place in like one of the universes? Is this like a combined multiverse or universe?
I don't know. That's a we have to see the movie to find out. It's not that far away, and then then there'll be obviously Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange will be a spoiler review on a Saturday, and then we're gonna do Black Adam, Thor, and whenever shows come up, like the next Disney Plus show, like She-Hulk or Miss Marvel, we'll do that for Saturdays. Like Saturdays are designated for review streams, unless there's nothing to review. Then it'll just become a general stream, like my Tuesday and Thursday streams. Hey,
Yeah,
Glenn,
makes
bro, what's
sense.
up?
What's up?
What's up? Glad you could join. I know you're there.
Hey,
I
bro.
know.
Yeah,
I know
what's up,
you're.
George?
I know you were may not be able to join today, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I was able to finish some notes. It's annoying. It's getting busy now.
Oh, because it's ramping up for exam season.
Yeah, I have like midterms,
Yeah,
so
midterm. Yeah,
I do
yeah,
not miss that.
yeah, it sucks.
I
yeah.
remember when I was in college around this time of year that's what when we would have our tests.
Yeah, like it's just because we had a reading week, and like I still feel like it
Reading week.
wasn't
Yeah,
enough. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm gonna see the Batman though, so
You're
um,
seeing it Friday, right? Yeah.
yeah, I'm seeing it on Friday. I'm seeing it in IMAX. Yeah,
I'm seeing it
so.
Thursday. I'm seeing it Thursday night, but I might push it back to the afternoon on Thursday. I don't know.
Mm.
And I do have
Yeah,
tickets for Friday. I do have tickets for Friday also.
yeah, I want to see. I usually watch movies once, like just for the experience and stuff like that. Like rarely do I see movies twice unless like I really love it. You know what I
The
mean?
only
So
the only movies I saw twice in theaters I'm not one of those. I like a lot of movies, right? I like most, and a lot of people see DC and Marvel movies more than once, more than two times. I think the only couple movies I saw more than once in theaters might have been Rise of Skywalker. Oh no, the first one,
Force
Force
Awakens.
Awakens, yeah, and I did see Endgame twice, but I saw Endgame online stream because Endgame came out earlier in some of the other
Mhm.
countries, so I kind of pirated it, admit it. Then I saw it in theaters.
Oh man, yeah, I seen Endgame and Infinity War twice. I seen Guardians of the Galaxy the most. Like I think I seen that like 4 times in theaters. It's pretty
There's al-
crazy.
there's only
Yeah.
been like two movies I've seen twice in theater. So recently it was like No Way Home because like I saw No Way Home opening night. My mom wanted to see it, so 2 weeks later I saw it with her. The second one I'm not proud to say because this was back in 2009. I was a stupid teenager. It was Transformers 2.
No,
I don't know why. Like that was like the second like that was the other movie I've seen twice in theaters.
Yeah, no shame. I've seen that a lot too.
I might have seen other movies twice, but I don't remember. I don't know. I might. The reason I saw Force Awakens twice is because once I actually went with my mother. My mother had no interest in Star Wars, but I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, we were at the mall. I'm like, you know what? Let's go see this movie. And it's like, if my dad was still alive, my dad would probably want to see it because he was into Star
Mm.
Wars. Um,
Like I've seen plenty of movies multiple times on DVD, TV, and streaming, but theaters it's only been like twice that I've seen like a movie
yeah.
like twice in theaters.
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
I seen probably what Blade Runner 2049 like 3 times
I
in
forced
theaters.
I forced my mother to see Amazing Spider-Man 2 with me.
Oh wow.
And she's not into that stuff. She's not into comics or sci-fi, like that kind of stuff. My dad was not really into comics, but he's more into the sci-fi stuff, like Star
Hmm.
Wars, Star Trek, Indiana Jones, stuff like that. But he'll watch occasional comic movies because he did like the Dark Knight movie. He didn't see it in
Mm.
theaters, but he did watch it on TV. He did like it. Um,
Oddly enough, my mom's gotten more interested in comic book movies as the years have gone by.
I I did. My dad did. I have to admit this. My dad did take me to see Mortal Kombat, the first one, and Annihilation.
Oh wow.
Like she even wanted to watch the Snyder cut with me. I was like, oh okay, because I kept like going on about it, and she was like, oh okay.
Mm.
Yeah, it was just sad for my dad. My dad passed away right before like the Hobbit movies came out, and he was a
Oh,
huge Lord of the
Oh
Rings
man.
fan. I know you can say
sorry
this.
to hear.
You can. I'm.
That's sad.
Thank you. Thank you. It's about a decade ago, but
Yeah.
thank you. I know he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I was pumping up the hype for the Hobbit for him. I know a lot of people. I know Hobbit wasn't acclaimed, pretty much acclaimed like the Lord of the Rings movie, but for him, the Hobbit, like Lord of the Rings, everything was huge for him, and
Mm.
he wanted to see the Hobbit movie. Like, he passed away 2 months before. Because I think the first Hobbit movie came out in December, and he passed away in like
Yeah.
October of that year, 2012. And I was like, I wanted to see with him, and it was too bad.
Oh man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
like my dad like passed away back in 2005. It was like the same year Batman Begins came out. So I
Oh
didn't see
yeah,
Batman Begins in theaters at the time, but he passed away in September. But like that following Halloween, I won like a raffle at a Halloween party at the age of like 8 or 9, and I got Batman Begins on DVD.
oh.
And he had like a mustache
Mm.
like Gordon did in the Nolan film. So it was always like, oh my goodness, like he would just remind me of my father, like every time I'd watch like Gary Oldman's Gordon in those films.
Gary Oldman
Mm.
was a great Gordon. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
say
was.
this. I'm gonna say this. Keaton is an overrated Batman because the way Tim Burton wrote Keaton's Batman is not how Batman is really.
No, yeah. I still like him in the suit though. Like I think
Yeah,
he looks
the suit's great.
that's yeah, he has like a very interesting look compared to everybody else. So that's why I'm excited for him because I went back and watched those movies and like I love Batman Returns as a kid. Um but yeah, I'm excited to see him come back.
Yeah,
Here's the thing with those movies. They may not have aged all that well, but I still love them, not just for the nostalgia. I just enjoy them. There's just an enjoyment level to them.
the thing is, hey, welcome, welcome, Lionel. The thing is,
Oh, it's
the thing is, Jack Nicholson was the star of that movie.
Yeah,
Michael
he
Keaton
was
was good.
yeah,
the opening credits. His name was first brought up before Keaton's.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, he
that-
was a bigger actor at the time, so
Yeah, he was, but the problem with that is Batman. Michael Keaton is playing Batman. The hero should always be the first actor should always be the first one in the credits and over Jack
Mhm.
Nicholson. I know what it did because of the name recognition. I mean, Michael Keaton just to come off Beetlejuice, and I know Beetlejuice is comedy
Yeah.
/ horror, but he was that film. It was Tim Burton, obviously, it was Tim Burton, but that film. Oh my! That was one of the best films of Michael Keaton's career. Beetlejuice.
yeah, it was. It
I
was.
love
I'm-
Beetlejuice. It's one of my all-time favorites.
And Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. I know he has other movies in the past, like The Shining, but I think Flight Over Cuckoo's Nest is like, to me, that's how he got the Joker job. I'm sorry, that's how he became Joker.
Yeah.
That movie.
I mean, he's Jack Nicholson, so that
Yeah.
he's been in so many things up until that point. So it's
Yeah,
like,
I just rewatched Batman Returns this morning because I'm going to do my Batman Returns review tomorrow. And
oh,
like,
nice.
yo, like it's like I like this movie a lot, and it's like, but at the same time, like Tim Burton had way too much control over this film.
You know what the problem with Tim Burton's movies are? They're good, but they focus way too much on the villains.
I think it's because he got to reinvent
Yeah.
the Penguin so much, like tweak him up
Penguin-
a lot,
Penguin,
and I like his interpretation of the character.
I think
Like it's not
Penguin
comic
had-
accurate, but
I think
Yeah.
he was not. He had more. I think the Penguin had more screen time than Bruce Wayne Batman in Batman Returns.
yeah, probably I wouldn't be. I think so. Bruce Wayne is not in it a lot.
Bruce Wayne wasn't even a lot in the first Batman movie either.
No, yeah,
See, that's the problem with hero movies. You cannot make your main hero have less scenes than the villain. I mean, you could have a lot of scenes for the villain and the hero, but the hero should have more. Should be more involved, especially.
but
the
I
title
think
of the movie.
but I think we all know why that's the case. Like I think a lot of writers are drawn to the fact that Batman's villains are more interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
Because he got more personality.
hmm
I think from what I heard, the new upcoming Batman movie, while the villains are focused a lot, they're focusing a lot on not just Batman, but mostly Batman. Actually, not just Bruce Wayne. Actually, it's mostly Batman. And I don't know why the people were like, "Oh, they're all tired of Batman." How much? And this is a Max's channel. I'm not gonna call. I like saying this. People are like, "What are they gonna do differently?" We're gonna do. I'm telling you what they're gonna do differently. This is more of a Arkham Origins Batman, where he's young and he has to learn to trust people, stuff like that. And they're gonna use something that Batman is known for being, the world's greatest detective, as a detective. In all the Batman movies in the past, his detective they haven't really focused on detective skills.
Yeah,
So it's
not
like
not at
only,
all.
Like a few
No.
moments that they really have like
Yeah.
focused on.
Yes, and if you read the comics, Batman does a lot of detective work. Like
Mhm.
The world's greatest detective.
yeah,
Yeah.
and people are, I guess, you know what? People are there's people just tired of Batman getting everything, but you know what? If they will Batman as a complete character, like I think Matt Reeves is doing with his detective skills, his combat skills, his personality, the Bruce Wayne persona, I think Matt Reeves is trying to do that. We don't get any other Batman films.
hmm
The closest we probably got was maybe Christian Bale's, and Christian Bale.
I would say not really.
Yo,
I mean, it was more heavily focused on Bruce Wayne, Christian Bale.
Like I think that one was more combat oriented, and I mean the detective. I don't know. It was more of a crime kind of a situation. Like not so much a detective. Like I don't know how to describe it, right? Because it's like he wasn't really doing a lot of. There wasn't a lot of mysteries in those movies, right? So it's like obviously you don't need to be a detective just to
Yeah.
solve mysteries, right? So
I would say
They're
The Dark Knight like was really the only film in the Nolan trilogy he showed his detective skills
yes,
in.
Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like I feel like it's obvious like and I love the Nolan trilogy, including The Dark Knight Rises. Like obviously, in the words of Jeremy Johns, like from years ago, like Christian Bale's Batman was more like Ninja Batman.
yeah,
Like it was more combat oriented.
The only thing I got detective on the Tim Burton movies was like the filing on Jack Napier's character, the Joker, and like the pig one. That's it, and he didn't do anything else. Like
Mhm.
like how the penguin came to be, stuff like that. He really kind of knew like who the penguin's parents were, and like he really knew who all I know was that Jack Nicholson's character killed his parents, which is stupid. Was stupid. I think that's one of the stupid.
I think that, like here's the thing, because I was doing the research before I did my Batman 1989 review. Apparently, like there was a writer's strike in 1988, so the film had to like rewrite. They had to rewrite certain things in that film, so
Really?
that's why certain things are the way they are. Like why like Alfred let Vicky Vale randomly into the Batcave.
Oh wow. And it was still successful though. That's
they-
interesting.
They even took a jab at that in Batman Returns when when Bruce is like to Alfred, who let Vicky Vale in the Batcave? Like they took a jab at that in Returns.
Oh, yeah. But let's get on the topics, guys. We're gonna talk about heroes, role galleries. I know who has the best. So we can also debate who has the worst, but I think the best, like on my thumbnail, I have Superman, Batman, the X-Men, the Flash, and who else?
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, obviously, and but that's just how I put a thumbnail. That's not my opinion. Who has the best? That's just who I put a thumbnail. I think that's the most. Those five are the most common among. Maybe Wonder Woman ahead of the Flash, but I like Flash's role gallery better than Wonder
I think the
Woman.
Flash has better
Yeah.
rogue. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Wonder Woman is just more popular, obviously. But I think to me those are I think we all agree those five are the most popular role galleries of any comics, right? Like,
Well, I think what also helps is the many like TV shows and movies that these franchises have had, and how much like the spotlight's on a lot of these villains that appear in multiple times.
So, look, okay. To me, I think look, I'm gonna. This is a very common answer. To me, Batman is number one for me because of the how good the role gallery is. I mean, you got Joker, Two-Face, Penguin, Catwoman. I guess you consider to be a role gallery in the role gallery, but she's more of I guess a neutral anti-hero or whatever you want to call her. You got Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Mr. Freeze, Man-Bat, Hush, Black Mask. He has a very stacked role gallery, but he does have a lot of jokes in the role gallery too. Tons of them. What do you guys thought?
I want to bring up that one villain that I remember from Batman Arkham Origins, Electrocutioner.
Oh yeah,
that guy was a major joke.
Just a lot of.
It was like a Shocker ripoff, like I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Electrocutioner, just one punch or something, it's down, and then.
Honestly, for me, it's really a tie between Spider-Man and Batman for the best rogue gallery. Because like literally, they basically got the best like they kind of like hit it on each like level. Like you got like the villains that push them to like a certain limit, like Joker, Green Goblin. You've got like the sympathetic villains in like Mr. Freeze and the Lizard. And then like you got those like villains that know how to like find ways to break them, like Venom and Bane. And you also got like those villains that are like anti-heroes, like you mentioned, Black Cat. Well, not Black Cat, Catwoman and Black Cat.
Yeah, Black Cat, the female fatality.
And you got your jokes of like of villains that you don't take seriously, but like you also got like those villains that know how to play with the heroes' minds, like Mysterio and Scarecrow. Like there's like there's like a lot of similarities, but they each have their own distinct features.
Yes. But you know what I like about Green Goblin? He is kind of like Two-Face. He has a multi-personality disorder, kind of. Norman Osborn. That's what I like. But go ahead.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember a couple of, I don't know, maybe it was like a month ago. I don't know. Someone said on Twitter I completely disagree with this. That Spider-Man had the better rogues gallery in terms of like complexity and like interesting characters. And I mean, if you're going off the comics, I have to disagree. Like it's clearly Batman. Like I love the rogues gallery in Spider-Man, but I mean when they first started out, they were pretty surface level. You know what I mean? Like they're petty crooks, right? And they didn't really have, and they still kind of to me don't have that much depth compared
Yes.
to Batman villains. Like they always, usually there's a lot of writers always trying to flesh out Batman villains. I mean, like beyond just the Joker, because I know a lot of people always just say, "Oh, the Joker" and stuff. But that's because if you're only watching the movies, then yeah, Joker's been the only one that's got attention, right, and some development. So like I just really disagree with that. Not to say that I don't like Spider-Man villains; they're cool and stuff. Like they have like probably the most unique designs out of Batman villains, but I mean Batman villains that have a lot of just like the ones that we named off. Like they have like they've been around, right? Like so
Yes.
it's like you know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't know what that person was talking about. Um, like even if I were to go and pull out Spider-Man stories, right? Like Doctor Octopus, Craven, Green Goblin, they're probably like the ones I would say have the most character development in the comics and like the most like they go all over the place, right? So I just really disagree with that idea.
Yeah, you don't hear.
I
Go ahead.
yeah.
You don't hear much
No, you
like
can go on
character
that.
development. You don't hear much character development for the other Spider-Man villains like Rhino,
Mhm.
Shocker. I mean, Scorpion has character development. I mean, like Matt
Yeah,
Harvey.
Scorpion is another character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
but
even
yeah,
then, he's still kind of just like kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like he was Venom at one point, and he was on the Dark Avengers, and then it kind of just doesn't go anywhere. But like, what's another freaking character that was it was like literally in my mind.
it's Spider-Man.
Fuck. For Spider-Man. Yeah, I was gonna make a point about this, but I just like lost it.
Who?
Damn.
Okay, we'll go through a list of Spider-Man villains. I mean, we said Scorpion, we said Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Craven. Well, obviously Venom is different because even though Spider-Man, Venom was a Spider-Man villain, but became a hero.
I just remembered my point. I was gonna say that they try to develop Lizard in the comics, right? But
Oh yeah,
this was the issue with the Lizard, right? They always like they were actually trying to make him like a sympathetic character, like to say that when he transforms into the Lizard, he actually isn't Connor, right? And then I think someone retconned that and made it. It was just like no, he actually knows what he's doing as a Lizard, and it just
that's
was like
terrible.
it was really bad, yeah. And then they retconned that again, and it's like yeah, the Lizard as like a character in the comics has been like all over the place,
Stop,
and yeah, that was what I wanted to say.
stop
Yeah.
screwing up. Okay, George.
Spider-Man comics made a lot of like poor decisions later on in the years when it came to stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Especially
like
Dan
things
Slott.
That's
Like-
bad.
like,
Don't do
one
that to
thing-
Lizard. Don't do that to
Yeah.
Lizard.
But,
Lizard
like,
should be I'm just saying Lizard should be a sympathetic character. He should be.
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
thing I will say with Batman's villains are on a psychological level. Like you need to have like a strong mentality to deal with that kind of rogue gallery that knows how to like toy with like people's minds. Like I'm not just talking about like the Joker, like Two-Face, Riddler. Like
Mhm.
there's a special kind of like mentality you gotta have, and like where Batman may not have the powers of like Superman and Wonder Woman, he's got like the strong mentality to deal with like the craziest of the crazies.
Mhm.
Almost each villain Batman represents himself and what's wrong with society. Like Joker is like Joker. If you think about the Killing Joke, Joker said one bad day changed everything for him, but also for Batman. So that's why I say basically, why else dress up as a bat? He had one bad day. Obviously, for Batman, that's referring to his parents' death at Crime Alley. And for Joker, in the Killing Joke, all that shit that happened to him, he gets thrown into the into the vat of chemicals with the as Red Hood, and after supposedly his wife and unborn child died, even though that's been retconned in Three Jokers, right? Because like apparently they're alive, but that's what Joker represents. Two-Face represents the multi-personality issues that Bruce Wayne and Batman has. Well, he doesn't have multi-personality disorder, but you get the idea what Two-Face represents with Batman. Riddler represents Batman's skills in terms of, or Bruce Wayne's skills in terms of intelligence, detective skills. That's what Riddler represents. Catwoman is the forbidden love, right? Like that's the forbidden love, the female fatale. Poison Ivy doesn't exactly represent like what Bruce Wayne has, but she represents what she thinks she's doing good, but she's going too far. She's too extreme. Harley is I don't know what Harley represents with Batman, but most of the characters most of the villains represent some aspect of Batman.
Well, Ra's al Ghul, like he wants to bring stop crime, but like he does it in a different way of Bruce. Like he wants to
Yeah,
like
he doesn't want to
like that's always been like established.
Ra's doesn't want Ra's will go great lengths to stop crime. Bruce has a limit. He will not do what Ra's al Ghul does because they work from the shadows. Like that's explained in Batman Begins. Like that's perfectly explainable in Batman Begins. The Ra's was willing to like do what if you know biblical what God did to Gomorrah and Sodom, right? Because how those two cities were, and God would destroy those cities. That's what basically what Ra's was trying to do with Gotham in that movie, and Bruce didn't agree with it because Bruce believed in that the city could be saved, you know, by his way, and you know what? For bad as Dark Knight Rises was, he kind of proved his point. But yes, Green Goblin and Joker, they are the two, I guess, focus main enemies, the main antagonists of Spider-Man and Batman. But the thing is, Joker. What makes Joker so great is that we don't really know who he is. Who is he? Or now, who are they? Because there could possibly be more than one Joker, which to me kind of doesn't get my interest. It takes away my interest in who this mysterious fellow is. Because Joker's always been a mysterious villain, right? Like even though the Killing Joke kind of gave us an origin, but it wasn't a definite origin. You know, it wasn't like the exact origin of Joker. And we got his other possible origins with him being an actual member of the mob or being actual Red Hood or wherever. That's what I liked about Joker. But I told Three Jokers kind of made it seem like there's more than one Joker throughout the years.
And also like the impact that he's had, killing Jason Todd, like crippling Barbara Gordon. It's like,
oh, and you know what he also did? He killed but nobody talks about it. He killed James Gordon's wife in front of babies, in front of kids.
Like and like the thing is like Batman refuses to stoop down to his level.
Yeah, and Joker wants that.
Actually, speaking of one character, I would love to see in the movie, is Commissioner Gordon's son, like the Black Mirror arc. I think that would be really cool for the Matt Reeves verse.
Maybe. Oh yeah.
It's a pretty underrated story.
They might do that for future Batgirl stuff. I don't know. They might save it for Batgirl.
It feels more like a Matt Reeves story, but we'll see. I know that a lot of people don't talk about it much, but it was a good story. It's the reason why Scott Snyder was writing the main Batman. So
you can still introduce technically Batgirl and Matt Reeves if they want to. I mean, Matt Reeves did say he doesn't want anybody like from the Superman or with powers. He strictly wants his universe. I think this was an interview yesterday that came out. He mostly said he strictly wants his universe to be grounded with kind of like Nolan. Nick Nolan had. Like a lot of people did not like Nolan. There's some people that did not like Nolan how it's grounded. I'm gonna say it. Matt Reeves' universe is gonna like the tone of Matt Reeves' Batman's universe. It's gonna be similar to Nolan in any other Batman.
Well,
So,
from what I've heard, it's because I was reading some posts um about it, and it's actually not like Nolan at all
no.
from what I heard.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean it's more grounded. They can what a wheel
it's
what a wheel.
it's it's grounded in its visuals, but it's still fantastical. Apparently,
Okay.
that's
Just
what
don't
someone said.
just don't expect people with powers to enter that universe. So that I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if they're gonna introduce Poison Ivy. Mr. Freeze they can do because Mr. Freeze could come up with something with their freeze gun. They can do something with
Yeah,
Mr. Freeze. Um,
I mean, Matt Reeves said, yeah, he doesn't, he wouldn't consider bringing Superman in, but he does have specific conditions. That's what he said. So,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I think that means he'd probably be more up for the idea.
yeah.
To be honest,
But
yeah,
let's establish the Batman stuff first.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think like he's basically hinting at like because like I always say like there's always a possibility that if the DCU never works out, Warner Brothers could always look at the Reeves verse. Like my thing is, he would probably say, "Wait for me to get done with what I want to do, like the films I want to do before you start assuming you want to cross over."
yeah. Like I think they have to come to him and be like, "Here's how everything fits in," and then he would be like, "Okay, as long as you don't." You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like in the comics, right? Like even though Batman's in on the Justice League, the comics usually don't cross over, right? That's more of a Marvel thing, especially now. But yeah, like I don't. You don't necessarily need to have everything connected. They could still exist in the same universe, but they don't need to be connected. So
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: they're not going to do a Justice League in the Matt Reeves universe. That's a DCU. They're
yeah,
doing they're they're going to be careful who they're going to put in the Reeves universe if they decide to put characters who are not part of the Batman stuff, the Batman side of because they're going to be very careful. Matt Reeves, they better ask Matt Reeves, and I know a lot of people are going to say, "Well, Zack Snyder didn't do this, or they didn't let Zack Snyder do this." But for Matt Reeves, because they're investing a lot in Matt Reeves. They're for his stuff. They better ask him who he wants. If they that's not a Batman related character. No, I've been seeing lately for the past few days on Twitter like Deathstroke is not a Batman villain. But if Matt Reeves asks for Deathstroke, do you think there's a chance Warner Brothers may grant him Deathstroke?
probably, but I'm not sure. Like Deathstroke, the thing is that whole debate. I mean, yeah, but Deathstroke is not really a Batman villain, right? But like
Yeah.
he crosses paths with Batman, right? It's kind of like
He crosses past a Green
it's
Arrow
kind of like
too.
how I would say like how like the Juggernaut in Spider-Man he crosses over with him
Yeah.
quite a bit. Where the point where yeah, you could say the Juggernaut is a Spider-Man villain, right?
Or
So
Deadpool
it's like
villain
that.
now.
Yeah, or like it happens, but like he's not like there's you can't like I seen someone was like posting, oh, like he's in quotes, obviously they're being sarcastic. Oh, Batman's not or sorry, Deathstroke is not a Batman villain, and then they put like a bunch of like comics, but like the comics that they were using, it was like there's no definitive like story with Batman and
Have
Deathstroke.
they
Like
shown
this
him
is like fairly recent thing, right?
has he
So
shown him has that person seen the comics with Deathstroke and Green Arrow? Because Deathstroke's been more of a Green Arrow villain more than a Batman
he
villain.
well even that he's more of a Teen Titans
Yeah,
villain.
it's true. T-Titans first, yeah.
In the comics, and then obviously in the animated they changed him to Slade, so it's like
All for obvious
yeah,
reasons because it's a child
yeah,
show.
yeah, right. So
But like he's a Teen Titans villain first, and then I think he did become a kind of a Green Arrow villain in the comics for a bit.
yeah,
And so they introduced him to the show because of that. I think that but then they took him off the show because they were used Deathstroke in the movies, and we only got the cameo scene at the end, and they decided to bring Deathstroke back in the show because they decided to cancel the plans of Deathstroke. Right? They're like, you know what? We're gonna go in a different direction. We might as well put him back in the Arrowverse.
yeah, which was all over the place.
Yeah.
For a lot of people who don't read the comics, they say like Arkham Origins was like where people all of a sudden started assuming that Deathstroke was a Batman villain because you had that epic boss fight, and then you saw in Arkham Knight like he was also like tied to that whole thing, and like obviously like when like they heard hey Deathstroke's gonna be the villain in a Ben Affleck Batman movie, it's like that's become the misconception, and it tells you how many people really don't read comic books.
Deadshot was a
Yeah.
Batman villain at first. Deadshot.
Yeah,
was a Batman
Deathstroke
villain.
is a Batman villain.
Even
Yes.
Catman was a Batman villain.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, like I mean, the thing is, like, a Deathstroke goes around. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah,
faces
he's
a
a-
lot
He's a
of people.
mercenary. Like
he's a hired
Yeah.
assassin. Yeah.
Yeah.
yo,
I mean,
it's
he
like
does
it's
have
like
ties. Go, George.
it's like Taskmaster in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
he goes back and forth with people. Like he'll be a Spider-Man villain for a little bit, then he'll be someone else's villain for a little bit. Like that's Deathstroke in DC. He'll be a Green Arrow villain for like a few times, then a Teen Titans villain, then a Batman villain.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the the League of he has connections to League of Assassins, but League of Assassins maybe at first were originally Batman, but they expanded in the DC universe.
Yeah, you can't expect them to
Yeah.
like be limited to like one thing. Like look at like the 10 rings in the MCU. Like they start off as
Yeah.
Iron Man, now they've spread to Shang-Chi.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
like,
they drastically changed that
Yeah.
from the
once-
comic.
But like again, like once you expand a group, like you're gonna expect like they're gonna branch off to other heroes. It's not like Ra's al Ghul's gonna branch off and be someone else's like enemy. Like he's not gonna
Mhm.
become the Flash's new arch enemy all of a sudden. He's still gonna be focused on Batman, but maybe one day there'll be like a League of Assassins group that'll be focused on going after Flash one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I read a couple years ago, Deathstroke had one with Wonder Woman. Is he a Wonder Woman villain?
Hmm.
Like
I just
Yeah, it is a misconception, but it's like, yeah, like I'm not totally up for the idea of Deathstroke in a Batman movie just because it's kind of boring in my opinion. Like there's
Here's
not
the
much you
thing.
could do with it.
Deathstroke. I don't like. I like Deathstroke. I like Slayer Wilson, but is he really a main villain for a film unless somebody hires him?
In my opinion, no.
That's
here's
what
the
I'm
thing,
saying.
unless
Black
you're doing
Mask
something
maybe hires him.
Yeah, like unless you do something similar to what Arkham Origins did, where you have like a
Yeah.
few assassin villains like Deadshot, Deathstroke, like lined up, but like the main bad guy is like the guy that hires them, like Black Mask, Penguin, Joker.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like unless like you really make a drastic change to the Deathstroke character where he can hold his own as the main bad guy, which is very hard to do. It's not really gonna work the way you want it. Will it look cool? Yeah, but it's you gotta change the character himself around to make him hold off on his own.
Yeah.
Apparently in the Justice League, the original plan was why Deathstroke wants to go after Batman, get revenge of Batman. Apparently, Batman kills his son. Now they didn't say
Like-
which son. They didn't say which son, right? There's Jericho and Joseph, right? I think is it Jericho that's death?
Hold on a second. I know about.
One of them is death, right? I know that. Is it Joseph that one that dies in the Teen Titans? Yeah, it's Joseph that dies, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason Deathstroke is going after the Titans to get avenge his son's death. What was it called? The Judas. What's the storyline? Judas something? I forget. It was a
Yeah, hold on. The Judas contract.
the Judas contract. So yeah, he goes to get revenge of the Titans for getting his son killed, right? That's the reason he goes after
Yeah.
the Titans, right? So but I don't know. I don't like. So according to yeah, the Justice League original plan was he's going after Batman for apparently Batman kills his son now.
Hmm.
And like
mean-
here's like a quick question when it comes to villains, because you can make the case that Kraven the Hunter could be similar to Deathstroke in it that he likes to like he's an assassin, stuff like that. What villain could hold off his own better in a movie? Kraven in a Spider-Man film or Deathstroke in a Batman or Green Arrow film?
I would probably say Craven because there's more story.
Yeah, I would say Kraven. I mean, yeah, I know Sony's giving him his own movie, which I'm still confused about, but still, like, I feel like with Kraven, there you can do more with Kraven as a villain than Deathstroke as the main villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, like Craven should be the one that's the villain in someone else's movie, and Deathstroke should have his own stuff, right? Because there's enough material for Deathstroke to kind of be off on his own, but like he's just not like to me he's not really a compelling villain. right? So, you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird that we're getting a Craven the Hunter movie where it's like, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, yeah, there's stuff with his brother and
They
his family and stuff, but it's
What
just
they
not
should do
interesting.
if they were smart, small Sonny. So Craven Hunter movie, okay. Say it's gonna happen. Say it's successful. They should have a crossover with him and Spider-Man at some point.
Yeah, I
Say-
mean, at some point they're going to have to.
yeah. Now the question is, which Spider-Man? We don't know.
Honestly, I feel like it can work in any scenario. Like, obviously, if like let's just say he crossed over with Toby, it could be like, okay, older Spider-Man starting to get worn down. The Hunter wants to finally hunt him after 20 years. Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man's trying to rebuild his build his like life post Gwen
Yeah.
Stacy. He's kind of worn down. He's
Mike,
like gone a bit rough. Craven goes after him. No Way Home, like Tom Holland. He's got no one left. And like Craven wants to hunt the spider because
Yeah.
people still question him. Like, you can do it any other way with Craven at this point.
my thing is,
Mhm.
I think they're gonna. I think people want Craven the cross of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I think it's more like I'm gonna say this. I think he'll cross with Tom Holland's Spider-Man most likely. I just have that
I
feeling.
feel like I don't know. We like Tom Hardy's definitely. I think at this point probably isn't going to cross over in the MCU. Like
No.
we might see Tom Holland cross over with Venom
That's
in his
so
movie.
wrong. That's so
Yeah, yeah. Like I think so. I think the Sonyverse, as much as they want to say that it's all connected, I just don't believe it. Like I really don't. Like there's not. I mean, I know Morbius has a lot of connections and stuff, but I think
I don't know.
it's just kind of an excuse. Like it's just it's excuse to hype up people.
That's what I was
Listen-
saying before about Morbius. It's like, what universe is this take place in?
Yeah.
It's got elements from all three movies. You see on a poster the Toby suit. You see Michael Keaton, who is Vulture in the MCU. You see the Oscorp building from the Amazing Verse. Like, is this like a
Yeah.
multiverse that was
He
created
mentions
after-
Venom. He also mentions Venom too.
So
like-
what, this Doctor Strange just like this something happened with Doctor Strange open up the multiverse or something?
Did he like
I
combine
don't
all,
know.
like did he create a
know.
universe where elements of all
Yeah.
the universes are like mixed together?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't-
what I'm thinking.
Honestly, I don't even think that's even the case because it's like how would that means Sony knows what's going to happen in the MCU.
Yeah, but it's like what is this? Is this like a like because it's the Toby suit? Is this like a Toby variant with like the
Mhm.
amazing Spider-Man Oscorp being the Oscorp? Did like Toby Spider-Man fight Michael Keaton's Vulture?
Mm.
Yeah,
Like that's like what's confusing. It's like
It's like what if Vulture's just a troll job? Vulture's just there. The multiverse happens. Vulture ends up in that universe, and then Doctor Strange, I don't know, kind of fixes it, and I don't know if he fully fixes it, and Vulture just goes back to the MCU, kind of like what happened, in Venom, but vice versa.
Mhm.
What if that happens? People are gonna be so pissed off once again.
oh my goodness, it's like Sony's pulling a Ralph Boner.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, you can make the case that at least with like the Venom thing, okay, at least like there's a piece of the symbiote to hint at like Venom in the MCU, like a different version of Venom, like a new black suit Spider-Man symbiote arc. But it's like with Vulture, it's like what he's just there just to like give a just so like say, hey, we got an MCU character in our Sonyverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so let's go to other villain world galleries. Let's talk about Superman. Let's talk about Superman's world gallery. Well, I think Superman has a solid world gallery, but they're not as interesting as like Batman and Spider-Man. I don't even think they're as interesting as X-Men. I think X-Men has a more interesting world gallery than Superman, to be honest with you. But there's because to me, Superman's world gallery, a lot of them they're not sympathetic characters.
No. Yeah.
Oh.
They're kind of one and dones too.
Yeah.
Like they occasionally show up, but yeah.
I mean,
Well,
like Darkseid, no. Darkseid, no. Brainiac,
I
no.
wouldn't consider Darkseid a Superman villain, but
Well, he was first introduced. But yeah, he became more of a Justice League villain, but Darkseid was kind of more of a beginning with Superman. But I agree with you, Brainiac, no. Lex Luthor, maybe to an
Yeah,
extent.
Lex Luthor is pretty overrated. He's
You
used constantly.
Yeah, you can see Lex Luthor's points and stuff, but uh, Parasite, I don't know. Parasite, you could maybe Metallo.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
Metallo. I remember. Do you guys remember there was like a rumor that Metallo was going to be in Batman vs Superman, and then
Yeah,
it
I
was
heard that.
Doomsday instead? Yeah, I thought that was weird because it was like that probably would have made more sense if it
It
was
should have been
Metallo.
Metallo. It should have been
Yeah.
Metallo. Say Superman's a threat. Why not have a soldier? A soldier decided to do this. Go up with this experiment to take down Superman. Have
Hmm.
kryptonite installed into him or whatever. When they go down to the experiment, have kryptonite in his chest, like in the comics or something similar, and to help take down Superman. Why? That's better than Doomsday. But then you couldn't have Superman dying the way he died, right? You can't have Superman dying by Metallo. Like
But he shouldn't need to die in his second
that's
movie.
true. That's true.
Like,
Yeah, sure.
so like,
I think
oh my
I
god.
think I think that's I think the idea of Metallo in that movie would have been better because they didn't trust Superman. I don't think the government fully trusted Superman, and the government should have had an idea. If this guy's a threat, we should be ready ahead of time. So have somebody go down and experiment, a soldier. Um, I forgot what his name was. I forget who Metallo's name is. But that guy volunteers, and yeah, it could have been something like that. I think that it
Here's
would have
my
made the
thing.
story better.
Here's my thing with Superman's Rogue Galley, because I am a big Superman fan. I feel like there's been a couple problems. First thing is that when it comes to like Superman's movies, it's always either Lex Luthor or General Zod. You never get to see anyone else have a moment to shine.
Yep.
The
Hmm.
second thing is like it kind of depends on the media. See, like Luthor's overused a lot, but there have been some great versions of Lex Luthor, like the DCAU, like Superman the Animated Series, Justice League. That Luthor is great in my opinion. Like the one
Yeah,
voiced
I
by
agree.
Clancy Brown.
Hmm.
So like to me, like I can never get enough. So to me, I don't mind having a lot of like Clancy Brown voicing Luthor in the DCAU. Now, if you get like a bizarre performance like Jesse Eisenberg in BVS, then it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, he was not the right pick for Lex Luthor, and the reason why I say he's overrated is in the movies at least is because like they just do the same thing with him. You know what I mean? It's just
Exactly.
like it's just the same thing over
They
and
make him
over
too
again.
over the top. They make him way too over the top in the movies.
That's why I say the
Yeah,
best version is Clancy Brown's one in the
I'll tell you,
DCAU.
no.
he
You know what's
needs
a
to
good
he
version?
needs to be around. You know what I
You know
mean?
what?
Like constantly.
There's two good live action Luthors. Michael Wolfsbaum, and I hate to say it because I really didn't. The Supergirl show was okay for me at best, but over the years got yeah. John Cryer's Luthor was actually pretty good.
Mhm.
He's actually what they did with John Cryer's Luthor is actually relatable to him in the comics. He wasn't really he was over top at times, but his reason for hitting Superman, the stuff he did, the manipulation he did, was top notch Lex Luthor stuff. He wasn't like Jesse Eisenberg over the top. He wasn't like what's Gene Hackman, where he misses a criminal and criminally misses a criminal. Where Lex Luthor, yeah, he's considered the greatest criminal mind, but he doesn't really admit it. He thinks Lex Luthor thinks he's a hero, a good guy in his own way,
Yeah.
right? That's what John Cryer tries to do, fool the public. That's what his Lex Luthor is. Look at John Cryer's Lex Luthor clips. You'll see that he's probably the closest to Lex Luthor in the comics. There is. Wolfsbaum is good too.
It's kind of ironic because those are CW shows and people
Yeah,
like
no.
to crap on CW like DC properties. But yeah, one thing I will say they've gotten right is how they handle Lex Luthor in these shows, because this is Superman's like arch rival, so like he's gonna be around a lot. So like you gotta at least get him right to make people invested.
I heard you're introducing him
Yeah.
in Titan. Is that true?
I have no idea.
I don't think so. Maybe like later down the road or like a side cameo. I have to look at that. I didn't hear that.
You think they're gonna introduce Superman and Lois?
Yeah, definitely. He's probably definitely going to appear.
He's gonna be like,
Also, I will say this: the DCAU did have a good version of Darkseid, like Superman the Animated Series and Justice League. That version of Darkseid was really
Yes.
good because, like, he
My
killed.
my only concern with the dark side in the I guess the Snyder thing was that like it's just like it's a little too bleak. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of characters that like Big Barb and Mr. Miracle and
Oh yeah,
um what's his name? The guy with I like to say the scooter. What's his name?
Bobo?
No, it starts with a O. It's based on the
oh,
star.
I would love a
I'm
Lobo.
forgetting.
I would love a Lobo movie.
What's his name?
Get Lobo. Hey, Lobo. Hey, Lobo is gonna be. Lobo is gonna be. Lobo be. Who to do a good Lobo movie? People are gonna be pissed off at me. James Gunn could do a Lobo.
No, he
movie.
would. He actually would.
Because Lobo's the type of character James Gunn could do. His type of humor.
Orion. That's the character's name.
Oh yeah, Orion.
Oh, yeah,
His son, right? One of the sons or I think he's adopted son. He's not exactly the son, right? He's adopted, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think James Gunn could do very well with Lobo because Lobo's type of humor is matches James Gunn.
hmm
I mean,
Yeah, Lobo still needs to be introduced. I don't know why they keep saying, like remember I think we were talking about that The Rock was supposed to be Lobo and then it just didn't go anywhere.
No.
Yeah, now he's Black Adam. It's like, okay.
I think
it's so weird.
I actually think The Rock would be better off as Black Adam than Lobo.
Hmm.
I don't know. Momoa could have been Lobo, but he's Aquaman. He's a great Aquaman. But
Yeah.
I would love. They should do a Lobo project, and people are gonna be pissed. I mean, I'm sorry. People are gonna be pissed off. Lobo. Oh, it's humorous, guys. That's Lobo for you.
Exactly, yeah. He's pretty much the fourth Wahlberg kind of character.
Yeah.
Like very raunchy and stuff. He's more to like I know that they're trying to push Harley Quinn as like Deadpool, but Lobo's more like Deadpool in my opinion.
Yeah. He's more Deadpool like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's time. I think DC. They should go for it. I think we had this talk about last week. The thing with Zack Snyder fans, they want everything to be dark, but like you think Booster Gold, if he was in the Snyder's verse, would be dark. Booster Gold's not a dark character.
Yeah,
Like,
Booster Gold is a joke character. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be goofy, so I don't really understand.
Well, think of other characters like in like the properties that he's touched upon. Like not every like Superman character is gonna be dark. Like Toyman.
Yeah. Toyman, exactly.
Like what are you gonna do if Toyman exists in Cyberse? Is he gonna make like overly is he gonna be overly dark?
Apparently,
Well, he would die instantly. That's what Snyder does. He just kills off the characters.
Yo, Riddler was gonna kill himself in Justice League too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He doesn't really understand some of the characters. Like,
and look, I enjoy Snyder's take, but again, it's like this is not exactly comic book accurate. This is not like
to me, it's not about being comic book accurate. It's about knowing the characters, like just reading some of the stuff about the characters. Like we could tell. You could tell the difference between James Gunn understanding the characters and Zack Snyder's understanding the characters.
Well, I think James Gunn. Well, here's the thing, though, right? Like a Peacemaker in the comics is not like he is in the show, right? Like he's a more serious kind of character, but obviously he kept that element, right? And so like that's the thing about James Gunn. It's like if he's going to change something, and he does, he changes a lot. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, I would say is not comic book accurate. Like yes, they have the characters and stuff, but the Guardians of the Galaxy like the character, the team that he's using, I forget the writer's name, but like the 2008 run, that it's nothing like the show or the movie at all, right? Like in terms of tone and what the characters are going through. Like Star-Lord was always a straight character, right? He was a straight man, so he's not a man child, but that's okay, right? Because there's a reason for it in the story, so I don't mind it. Like if you're gonna change it up, like you have to have like a good reason.
You get Chris Pratt, you don't have like if you get Chris Pratt being Star-Lord, you're not gonna make him serious.
Yeah, you're not gonna make him serious. Yeah, and the thing is about like I keep going back to the Snyder Superman is why it's not accurate is because the character, his origin story, like it just doesn't make any sense, right? Like his dad is teaching him is like, hey, like don't be essentially Superman, don't be like the world savior, right? Which is kind of dumb because it's like. This is a Superman story. This is not supposed to be a subversion or a commentary on it, right? So it's just always bugged me. That's why I'm not like a big fan of Man of Steel. I honestly don't understand why people like it so much. Besides maybe the casting, right? Like,
I
it's
like the movie. I don't mind a different interpretation of the characters. It's just BVS. I did like it a little bit, but there is holes in that movie where I think it really hurts Superman in the long run because I'm sorry, like when in the comics, when Superman was defeated Doomsday but died in the process, the whole world, basically in Metropolis, they basically had a day for his funeral, right?
yeah.
Everybody in this movie, I didn't feel that because nobody, it was divided against him. You know?
Yeah, the movie even sets up that he's I mean people loved him, but he was himself conflicted,
Yeah.
right? Which is weird. I still think it's weird. Like his whole arc in the Snyder movies, I don't really understand like where it was going. Like it's either you build up toward him becoming the Superman that we know, but he wasn't trying to do that. He was trying to be like lead him down the path of like the Injustice Superman. So it was like, what is the point of the character then? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, they should not like
And here's my other thing, and this isn't just like a Snyderverse problem. This is just a problem with comic book movies in general. It really tells you how many people don't really read comics. Like they see a version of the character and like this is the definite version of that character.
yeah.
It,
I didn't want to see a ruthless Superman. I'm sorry,
like I'm fine with different interpretations, right? Because that's the
yeah.
whole point of comics, right? It's like a writer's going to take over and put their stamp on the character. But I think the issue is you still have to keep the essence of the character, right? If you're going to if you're going to give us a new interpretation, then it has to be somewhat in line with the
Yeah.
philosophy of what it was the point of the character, right? So that's why I'm like, well, what is Snyder trying to do? He's trying to make his own character at that point, right? Like you're just you don't really like Superman. You're like, I want to basically reinvent the character, right? And they try to do that with the Earth One Superman, and like to me, the Earth One Superman is basically Man of Steel, right? I don't. It's kind of weird that no one talks about it. I don't think Snyder read that because they were in
You know
development
what?
at that point,
You know what
but
Zack Snyder
they
should have done? You should talk lessons from Dragon Ball Z. When if you ever watched Dragon Ball Z, Goku fought Vegeta, right? And
yeah.
they made sure they're in the mountains, so there's no cities around where people get hurt, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Go. That's what Superman should have done with Zod. Punch him to an area. I'm sorry. Even if I know he's a rookie, he's new at this, but I'm sorry. It's still common sense. Make sure you send him to an area where nobody can get hurt. I don't care if
Yeah.
I don't care if it's your first fight or not. It's just pure common sense. Like, and I think Superman and Lois. Okay, he's a veteran Superman. They don't when he fights his enemy. They don't fight in the city.
No.
No, right? Just go to an area it's. But I know why. I know why they had to do it in the city because of the collateral damage, stuff like that. And you know what? Dragon Ball Z does have that problem too. To be honest with you, there's a lot because if you watch Dragon Ball Z, it's very over the top with the power leveling up. You see there's like earthquakes happening, the ground shaking. George, you watched it, right?
Yo, I love Dragon Ball Z.
But
Like
you know
that,
what I
that
mean
was
when they're powering up, right?
yeah, yo, like literally, like yo, I remember when Namek took like they said it was gonna blow up in 5 minutes. It took like 10 episodes or something.
Oh yeah, the longest 5 minutes ever. Do you remember? Do
Yo.
you remember? Um, you know when we know it was going Super Saiyan 3, right? Goku's going Super Saiyan, he's going through the transformation. Everything was shaking, right? It was the world was having an earthquake. The city was like being damaged and stuff. I'm like, you're supposed to be a hero, and you're destroying us. You're destroying the world. But hurry up!
Now here's the thing. I will say this: there is a difference between Superman and Saiyans. Saiyans have that blood, that drive for fight. Even a peace lover like Goku, where like Superman usually isn't like that. So
I could tell you my hot take here. Superman would lose to Goku.
yeah,
Now,
honestly, like yeah, yeah.
it would take many. It would take some forms of Goku, maybe godlike form, because Goku does go past godlike form at times. And I know. And here's the thing: I know the sun powers up Superman, right? all Goku needs to do is like basically blow use a spirit bomb and stuff, and he's done. Superman's done. Goku is a better fighter. Combat speed, he's better at that. He has energy attacks. He could teleport. He's an overall better fighter than Superman. Like, but yeah, let's get back to him. Oh, Blind Billy left. He's muted.
I'm so sorry.
Let's, I mean, Spawn could be Superman, but like, 'cause I know the kind of Billy Spawn could do, and yeah, let's get to some other rogue gallery. Let's go with the Flash. I love the Flash's rogue gallery. From the rogues, Adula Grodd, Reverse Flash, who by the way, I'm pretty sure is the villain in the Flash movie. I'm pretty sure that other Barry Allen. Now, I have no sources backing up. My Time to Shine says that the other Barry Allen is the villain, but I hope she's wrong. When she's
did she offer an NFT?
No. People are
I
pissed
think
off at her.
she's right on that one
But
based
she
on
has to
some of the
stop.
stuff.
She has to stop, man. She has to stop with this stuff.
Oh my! You know what? Like, did she
I think
just
she's
come out-
right too. I think he is the other. I think he's Reverse Flash.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
it's- I
she's
think it's
wrong, but like she's kind of bizarre. Like people think like I know Grace Randolph can be bizarre, but she makes Grace Randolph seem like the chillest person
Yeah.
ever.
Apparently now it's not Superior Iron Man or Iron Man now. It's supposed to be Ironmonger now in Doctor Strange.
Oh, what? Wait. Oh my. Oh, and
I
by the
don't
way,
even know about that. I
I
don't
gotta
even
say
know
this
about
about Grace Randolph. Every time Max does a Grace Randolph video, every time he pauses, she makes the funniest faces.
He loves
Yeah.
Matt. He loves Matt.
I
Matt-
know, but like he always pauses at the wrong moment.
Grace has my funny faces, man. But the thing about Grace is when Max puts on her videos, it's like all of a sudden you hear that voice. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, like sometimes I would have my volume up and I'm watching her video and it's like, holy crap, man, my ears are bleeding.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
I have to wear headphones too, because like if anybody's around, they're like, "Why are you listening to this obnoxious woman?" I'm sorry, but like
But
she just has a really annoying voice. Like no
but as
offense.
far as like the Reverse Flash thing, like wasn't that like a leak like a year ago or so, or like less than a year ago
Yes.
that Reverse Flash was gonna?
no, they're all saying, oh the
This was an old leak. This was an old leak. I don't know who said this,
know.
but
A lot
I'm
of
pretty
people
sure I
saying-
told you about this
A lot of
too.
people saying the villain is Barry Allen. The villain is gonna be Barry Allen, right? I'm like, no, that's
Mhm.
Reverse Flash. You know why? Because Reverse Flash in the comics has made himself look like Barry Allen in the past.
I think it's very obvious that it's Barry. I think it's Barry Allen in an alternate universe that is Reverse Flash. That's what I think it is. Because
So
the
that's
reason why I think that is because they don't want to do what the TV show is doing. Like despite what people are saying, that first season
Do it.
is
Just
pretty
do
popular.
it. Just do it.
It's already done. That's why they don't want to do it. It's so well known. Like if you've seen the Flash show,
Yeah,
because
I know.
it's like, what's the like in my opinion, I wouldn't want that. Like
But if
you did it. The Flash show has gone on for so long, where it's like, yeah, if you were to do Reverse Flash now, it'd be like kind of old. It's kind of old news. You know what I mean? Like
the problem with Reverse Flash in the Arrowverse now, there's so many different versions because there's so many different versions, remnants of the Flash, of Reverse Flash. You got the Tom Cavanaugh, and the other one came back, the original one, I think. I don't know. Matt Lanner's character in the Legends, like it's getting too confusing with the Reverse Flash. Like,
yeah.
like just you know what? Just do Thawne in the movie. I don't think do Thawne. You don't have to make it like the show where you have a bunch of them. Just make it like just do that because Reverse Flash is the whole reason for Flashpoint. Like really, right? He wanted to go back and kill Barry Allen's mother, basically to make sure that Barry Allen was never born, right? Or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yo, there was this bizarre leak that like came out. Like I think it was like right after this, like the Snyderverse came out or something. That said, like apparently Mirror Master was gonna be the main villain, but he was gonna be in the Burton verse as a Batman villain hunting down metahumans in the Burton verse.
Why would he taking down his own kind?
I don't know. Like it was
Jesus.
just like I was like, no way is this
Mirror
true.
Master was a female in the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but you know what? I don't. They should have done the rogues. I mean, the Flash. They should have done the rogues. You could have, but you could have Captain Cold. Not everybody in the rogues. Like Captain Cold, Heat Wave. Maybe, Boomerang is done for because Boomerang is dead.
Yeah. Boomerang's dead. Yeah.
Well, we kind of established that Flash
Yeah.
captured Boomerang first
Yeah.
as one of his early
Yeah.
villains in the
And
20th
And this
century.
is sorry.
The Snyder
Yeah.
verse printed Groz already been happening. Groz around.
Yeah, like I think Gorilla Grodd is probably likely, but not in this movie, but like in a future movie.
Yeah, they gotta do Gorilla Grodd. Like that's one of the
Yeah.
most well-known like villains. Like, and here's the thing: like CGI apes after Planet of the Apes like can work out pretty well.
You could do the rogues. Like the rogues have a code, right? Like they're thieves, but they have a code, like their code of like Captain Cold's very strict about the code. No drinking, no drugs. The kill thing, they don't kill, but they'll do it. They make sure they're doing self-defense, or something like that. They won't.
Like-
they won't. They won't go. They won't. And they will not kill women and kids or
Hold on, I'll be back.
stuff like that. Okay. But they're thieves, right? And Cold, Captain Cold has he loves the rush of the rush of being even the thought of being captured by the Flash, because to him the Flash always makes him want to do not level up, more like work harder in his schemes, in his crime schemes.
Like they're so interesting
challenge.
because they have their own limits themselves.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre because I remember like in another plot for like Justice League 2, Captain Cold was going to be one of the villains to try to kill Flash. I'm like, but instead he like breaks Cyborg or something like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you know what? Actually, this was Cyborg. The Booyah thing. Just say it. Who cares if that's true?
Because I think Captain Cold was supposed to be like the villain in the original Flash film when like it was supposed to be a 2018 film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember like someone like one time like got like Captain Cold mixed up with Mr. Freeze, and I was like, no, they're two different characters.
So Killer Frost is a different character too.
Yeah, no, like Flash has got like, to me, like there's a case to be made that Flash probably has the second best rogue gallery in DC, even better than Superman.
You can make that case. You can make that case.
Like probably the third best after Batman and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can make that case.
That's why like it frustrates me so much that it's taken so long to finally get a Flash film, because I feel like there's so much characters you can put in a Flash film series.
Yeah, yes. You definitely could have. I mean, I thought the first few seasons of how they did the Rogues and Reverse Flash in the Arrow show was actually very. In the Arrowverse was actually very. I did like the portrayal of the Flash in the Arrowverse. I did like that Flash because it kind of reminded me of the Flash from the comics in a way, in a bit. It's sad moral stuff like that. He's not. There's a lot of gray to this guy. He's not bad as he. He's not. Like Captain Cole is not very. It's not a bad person. Like he's just doing to get by, but he has a code of ethics to him. But I like how they portrayed him in the show. That's how they kind of portrayed him in in the comics. And they got Heat Wave, and Heat Wave was the way they developed Heat Wave in the flat. Well, Heat Wave became more of a Legends guy, but the way they developed Heat Wave was great too, because there was more depth to Heat Wave. But I like how they treated Captain Cold's sister. The father and how he was raised an abusive father and stuff like that. Michael Ironside played the father. I like that. I did. Reverse Flash is a big time character, not just for Flash, but for DC because of what him and the Flash can do, going back in time, changing the current timeline because of the ramifications of interfering with the past, like what Flashpoint does, right? Different than Endgame. Endgame then you go back in the past. Endgame doesn't really affect the future, but
Yeah,
I'm
like
pretty sure in
obviously
DC,
Flashpoint, like,
yeah,
and I'll say this when it comes to the Flash TV show. I think the problem now is that this is a show that I think has gone on longer than it probably should have. Like, wasn't this like the second show in the Arrowverse?
yes,
So
um,
like, and I get it. It's their most popular, but sometimes shows have to end at a certain point. Stories got
thank
to
you,
end at a
man.
certain point.
It is. I think they're getting another season.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought this was supposed to be like the last season or something. Now, like I hear you're getting another season.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, for the Flash.
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
I think they might go up to 11. To be honest,
what's the
because
reason
it's
for
their most
Arrow?
popular show.
Yes.
So wouldn't that be would that be longer than Smallville, like season
Smallville
wise?
went 10.
10.
Yeah. Yeah, Smallville went 10 years, a decade basically. Yeah. Um,
Well, they're almost at 10 years.
yeah, Flash. Yeah, Flash came in 2014, I
Yeah.
believe. Right? They first it was more of a they introduced Cisco, Caitlin, and Grant Gustin's Barry in season 2 of the Arrow. That's how they got. And then one of the episodes in Arrow is when Barry's working in the lab, and then the lightning strike, and then you know what happens. Yeah, and then he was in the hospital for like some time, and then episode 1 of Arrow, not Arrow, Flash, I believe was Weather Wizard and his brother. They're criminals, right? Weather Wizard and his brother. They weren't Weather Wizard yet, but the accelerator, right? The lightning strike that happened in Barry's lab was the accelerator. So so Weather Wizard and his brother, they got hit by the accelerator, the accelerator, right, to give them the powers, right? Mutant like, not mutant like, but um metahuman like powers. Metahumans is basically mutants, if you think about it. That's metahumans is the equivalent of mutants, right? In the DC verse, right?
I think it's just powered people because there's like
Yeah.
different explanations for why people have powers, right? In
Yeah,
DC.
yeah. Because I know X-Men mutants is actually an alien gene. If you have an alien gene in you, you're probably mutant. Because I think that's where that's where I think it came from, an alien gene.
Well, yeah, they retconned it in what was it? The Eternals. Like the Eternals that were involved with the mutants. It's kind of
Yeah.
like how the Kree is involved with the Inhumans. It's like very similar.
Well, I think in the MCU, you kind of suspected it because they didn't have mutants in MCU at the point. They're allowed now, but
And now, like the MCU is probably going to rewrite it, where the multiverse will probably introduce the mutants.
well, yeah, because in the X-Men stuff, they didn't really explain the origins of how mutants came to be. Like, because they didn't need to. They really need to.
By the way, you hear Patrick Stewart's like, "Who's Doctor Strange?"
Yeah, well, he's playing coy
Yo, he's playing Andrew Garfield right now.
because they have to. The thing about being an actor or an actress in Hollywood, and you're being asked the question, "Are you in this? Or are you in this?" Where you can't say, where you want to say yes, but you're not allowed. You have to lie.
Well, like his whole demeanor changed when he was asked that. It was like he was smiling to like, "Oh boy."
Because he was, yeah, you could tell he's giving it away with the demeanor. You know, he says no. He's like, who's Doctor Strange? No, he didn't. He's saying who's Doctor Strange. He didn't say no, but you could tell by that demeanor. That's a yes. That's a yes.
But yeah, I can't wait to see the X-Men in the MCU finally. That's gonna be something to see.
I can tell you one
Definitely.
thing. Professor
Definitely.
Xavier it's gonna be in Doctor Strange. I can tell you one thing: Doctor Strange is gonna have. I'm pretty sure it's gonna have Mr. Fantastic. And this is what I'm hearing. Mr. Fantastic in it, played by John Krasinski. But I'll tell you right now, guys, John Krasinski is not going to be Mr. Fantastic for the MCU going forward. He's just going to be this Mr. Fantastic. That's what I hear. It's just, so yeah, they're gonna have Black Bolt. So they're gonna introduce. They're kind of, even though they said they're Fat Fight said we're gonna introduce the X-Men, Fantastic Four, etc. This is this movie that's coming up as evidence that yeah, we're eventually gonna show. It might not be from the Pacific actors that are playing Xavier in this movie because Professor X going forward in MCU is not going to be played by Patrick Stewart. It's just for this movie. This is a one-time thing. Because, like, I know the plot, but I don't know all the details. I don't know who. I know that some members of Illuminati die. I don't know who, but I can just guess. I'm pretty sure Patrick Stewart is one of them, in my opinion. I had no concrete. I know the plot, but I don't know which members of Illuminati die. But I think Patrick Stewart is one of them. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely think Patrick Stewart is gonna die. I'm not sure how. I feel like there is gonna be one character that survives. Well, actually, a few. I think Captain Carter is gonna survive. I think she probably might be in the MCU, like timeline, because it just like the character's super popular, and it's like obviously you have to keep her around, right? So
Yo, if Professor X dies, he's gonna hold the record for the most character deaths in a franchise because, like think about it. How many times have we seen this character die?
Yeah. I can tell you one thing. This Professor X is not the one from the X-Men universe that we're used to. It's gonna be a variant, and it's not gonna be that one.
I know, but it's like still, how many versions
I
have we
know.
seen like Charles, like Patrick Stewart's Charles?
And all those people asking, there's variants. All those Doctor Strange appearances, they're all variants of Doctor Strange, and there are variants of Wanda. I think we all know it's gonna be variants of Wanda because I know how. Because you see that one scene in the Doctor Strange trailer where you see the two Wandas, one sitting on the ground and one standing in front of them. That's a variant. That's a variant of Wanda right there.
Yeah, the variants can still probably, like, the actors can still play variants of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Like here's the thing. Like, I get it. You can do it with you could do it with No Way Home because we've got so many Spider-Man actors, and I think it sounds like they might do it with like Iron Man, with like the possibility of Tom Cruise being an Iron Man variant. But like for certain like characters, you can have the same actor play a variant form.
Yes. So let's move on to X-Men Rogue Gallery, and then we'll get into other Rogue Galleries out there because this is a 5. My thumbnail. X-Men Rogue Gallery. Well, obviously Magneto, obvious reasons. Him in different philosophical debates with Charles Xavier about how humans and mutants could coexist. Obviously, Magneto favors mutant superiority over humans, and Xavier disagrees with that. And Xavier, I don't know yet. Maybe for another 45 minutes. And Xavier doesn't believe and believes humans and mutants can coexist. What do you like about that? That thing with Xavier and Magneto, because they're friends.
They're like the mutant versions of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, in my opinion. Like when it comes to having different views on how to for civil rights for mutants.
Exactly.
Like I think that's always kind of been the intention, because you gotta remember X-Men comics were written during the civil rights movement.
Was actually it wasn't about that. Actually, it was about
I know it wasn't about that, but the similarities have kind of always been apparent.
It has had some of that, but I think most of it is because look, Magneto was in the concentration camp, right? And the Nazis, Nazis they always see themselves as superior to everybody. And that's how Magneto kind of took that in and saying mutants are always superior to everybody. That's what they.
Well, also like the different kind of growing up backgrounds that they've had, like. So like I've always seen it where like they've got where like they've got these two different viewpoints, but like care about mutants in the same way.
Yeah. Brian Bell, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
What do you think?
Um,
What do you think about Magneto and Xavier's?
I kind of like that he's not like an outright villain. I think in the comics, like in the early
He's
comics, he was
actually
too much.
I think they need the comics to become more of a hero.
Yeah, he's come more of a like an anti-hero, and he's had his own teams and stuff like that.
He's not really. He has become less of a villain.
Yeah, and I think that's always the better approach because he's not, he's not supposed to be an outright villain. I know that's how he first started, right? But
I still love the
I just think he's evolved. Yeah, go. Sorry.
Movies. I mean, we could say about Phoenix, Apocalypse or Rise of or Phoenix, but how they treated Magneto in those films.
Yeah, they treat him like better than Ian McKellen. Yeah. Yeah, like I definitely think that you're going to have to introduce Magneto right away in the MCU. You know what I mean? Like, just because he's so involved with it already.
The problem is the issue I have right now is like people have already seen people with powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they gonna be afraid of the mutants? That's the question I have in MCU.
I think if they have a good, like, I don't know how they're gonna do it. I really don't think they will do the multiverse idea, just because it's like, I don't know. I just think it's not. Like, I guess it is interesting, but at the same time, I feel like it's a bit sloppy.
Yeah.
Like, because now you retconned them into the MCU, and it's like, okay, well, they already exist, and now you got to kind of go back and explain things. I think if they do it organically, where it's like, maybe the mutants. I've been saying this. I think they should just do the approach of maybe something like the Ultimates universe, where they were like experiments and they kind of got out there, right? And maybe mix it a little bit with the Inhumans. Like, I think they should swap the Inhumans, with the Terrigen Mist with the mutants, because the Inhumans were just, they were supposed to be on the moon and it wasn't a lot of them, right? So it's like, I think, right? So I think if they swap, give mutants the origin, that it's like the kind of like the Terrigen Mist, so to speak.
Yeah.
In the MCU, right? Because I know they were trying to do it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't canon, so just like completely forget about that.
It was for a little bit, but they decided not to.
Yeah, like mix the Terrigen Mist with the Ultimate X-Men, and then that way you have like an origin, right? You can explain, hey, this is why all these people now have powers, right? And then there could be a backlash, right? Because it's like, what the hell happened to my body, my kid? And people are like ostracized by it, right? Like, I know obviously that's not what the mutants are in the 616 universe, right? Because they're born that way. But you could still kind of say it, right? And also too, it also kind of works as a new analogy, right? Because they were supposed to be
you play DC Universe Online, right? You play that game with I have, right? You remember how remember how your character became a metahuman? You could do something like that. Not born that way.
Yeah. Like I think just having it's just, for me, like, they want to make it contemporary and interesting. Like, you can obviously, people, like, the whole analogy for X-Men is that they're supposed to represent minorities, right? In general, like all different types of minorities, right? Like sexuality, race, religion, right? So it's like, if you can add a new layer to it, especially now. Yeah, I know people are going to say it's woke, but it's like,
always been like that, though.
Yeah, they've always been like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's good if you're gonna do it like that with that. You have to get creative with like that, because and I do like that. I like some other villains in the X-Men. Like, I know Juggernaut in the movies has been portrayed as a big muscle head, right? Just somebody a brute basically. But Juggernaut's more than a brute. More than a brute. If he's half brothers with Professor Xavier and stuff. You could write a good story with Juggernaut and his relationship with Professor Xavier. You could do stuff with Juggernaut instead of making this brute who's just there to be smashing walls and stuff. You know?
Or like ripping Deadpool in half.
Yeah. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I think like I still want to see Juggernaut and Spider-Man. I mentioned it earlier, but like it makes sense, right? Like there's a lot of characters that I think yeah, they would put Rhino, but like I don't know, it's a little different, right? Like it's an X-Men character crossing over with a Spider-Man character, right? Like
Well, if Spider-Man ever crossed over into an X-Men film down the road, you can probably see Spider-Man fight the Juggernaut, or maybe like he
yeah.
or like he finds the X-Men and he kind of like helps them with Juggernaut or something like that. But other than that, like I don't know how likely that's ever gonna happen.
I mean, he fights the Juggernaut pretty frequently in the comics. Sorry.
Yeah, but
so, like, I would still love to see it. Just like if we're going fan service, right? Like, I would still love to see it. Not to make him a main villain because he's not a main villain, but just like a cameo, a little fight or whatever.
No, you could have somebody. You could have somebody. You don't have to make it a main villain, but you could write a story like have another villain. Maybe Mystique. If you want to make Mystique a main villain, or like convince Juggernaut to go after his half brother, and you can make a good story there. You know?
Just
yeah.
My thing Mystique is don't drag out Mystique like you did in like the last 4 X-Men films.
My issue is they always make the big, strong, big muscle heads always brutes, except for Bane in movies. See, that's such a cliche thing to do, and I don't like it because, especially in comic books, because there's more depth to these characters. You know?
Yeah, like say what you want to say about the Dark Knight Rises. Bane was like a military tactician in that film. Like he was like
wasn't
not
a brute
just
at all.
Like a physical force. Like
exactly.
he expressed anger in his speeches. Like he was toying with like his enemies. Like he was like the personality was like was close to a point of the Bane in the comics because Bane was like a tactician there as well. Like he knew how to break Batman and push Batman.
The only time they made him a brute was in Batman and Robin.
But that film had so many problems. Like Bane was just like the 5th or 6th problem in that film. So like,
you know why? Because they needed somebody to do the heavy work for Poison Ivy, right? Because Poison Ivy was going to fight.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
None of the Batman villains actually fought Batman in those 4 films. Joker didn't get physical. Penguin didn't get physical. Selina Kyle might be the only one that got physical. Riddler and Two-Face didn't even get physical with Batman. Mr. Freeze didn't even get physical. Ivy didn't get physical. Basically, barely anybody in those 4 films got physical with Batman.
Like, here's the thing. I consider Bane and Batgirl and Batman and Robin to basically be cash grab characters because it's like, okay, this is the 4th Batman film. Let's put in this more recently new villain Bane in our film because we had that Nightfall story in the early years. And you know what? Let's get Batgirl in the Batman movie. Like, those were cash grab moves.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my thing with like Mystique, like for the MCU with Mystique, because I think a lot of people were kind of like tired of Mystique because it felt like Jennifer Lawrence cash grabbed like
especially last 2 ones.
Like, you gotta like change something with Mystique if you're gonna.
But she didn't play Mystique well. Like that's not Mystique.
Yeah, no. Like here's the thing. First class, she was great as Mystique, but after that, it was literally Katniss Everdeen as a mutant.
But she played Mystique like properly though. Like that's not how.
Yeah, she was pretty. I mean, she was pretty bare bones. Like.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like the one from like the original series, who was it? Rebecca Romijn, was that her last name?
Yeah.
She was good as Mystique, in my opinion.
The only problem is that they made Mystique in those films. Like Rebecca Romijn, she was second command, but Mystique is more of a Mystique is a character that could be a main villain. Yeah, she does. She could make herself look like other people, but she could be a main villain because there's a lot of story to Mystique.
Yeah.
I mean, Nightcrawler had no relationship to Mystique in any of those X-Men films. None whatsoever.
No, the only hint of it was in Apocalypse when she saved him.
Yeah.
There was nothing there, and Mystique, you could do a lot of Mystique, seriously, and And you could do. I mean, you could do Sabretooth to me. Sabretooth, they did. I think they did all right with Sabretooth with Liv Schreiber's character.
That was like the only good thing about Origins.
Yeah, he did something well with him. Sabretooth, I think Sabretooth could be a henchman. Like, look, you could have one main villain, but you could have other stronger villains team up that main villain. Have like perhaps like say Sabretooth teams up with Magneto, but the Sabretooth has a grudge with Wolverine. Wolverine could be in that movie. Wolverine could be like, Sabretooth, I'll be the one to take him out or stuff like that. You know, you can still do something like that because you have a history with a sub villain. You know, you don't have to make sub villain one dimensional. You can have a sub villain that's like has a history with someone in the X-Men or stuff like that. Mystique could do the exact same thing if you want to make her a sub villain. Omega Red. I mean, like, if they did something during this Cold War, Omega Red would be the perfect villain because of who he is, right? They could be perfect villain during the Cold War. We also got who else? Did I mention on the? Of course, the big one. The Thanos of mutants, I guess we'll call him, because even in that scene, who Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. Yo, I think they're gonna avoid him, to be honest, in the MCU.
I do too. Go George.
I was gonna say if they did it properly, maybe in a later X-Men film they can do Apocalypse. But I don't know. There's the one thing I feel like the MCU is gonna avoid down the road is the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
It feels like every time, like, because twice they've tried doing it and it's blown up in their faces twice. They ain't gonna do it again. Like,
but that's the thing though, because like in the comics, the Dark Phoenix was like a long, drawn out, storyline. So it's like I can understand why it just didn't work in the movies, because it's like you need a bunch of setup for it, right? Like there's the relationship with Scott and Jean. That's like nowhere in the movies, right? In both of them, like in my opinion, right? So it's like I feel like the MCU has to do it just because the Dark Phoenix saga is like so influential and it's so, it impacts a lot of other areas in the MCU. So I just think, I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to have to.
Like, here's the thing. Like, the MCU has actually taken like unpopular or not or like mixed story arcs and like have done better with them so far. So like maybe this is something Kevin Feige can fix, but I don't know. I feel like there's a curse with that Dark Phoenix like story arc.
Well, yeah, it's definitely cursed because they messed it up like really bad. I didn't even watch the Dark Phoenix, the last one.
I did
because it's just like
it was not good.
Yeah, like I'm not like X-Men Apocalypse was where I had like the last straw. I think I'm not sure if I said this before. I slept through that movie. I was like,
it's terrible.
It was boring, and yeah, and there was a lot of setup in that movie for.
I remember that day. That day was like after the movie. I was walking home from the theater. It was like I think it was like rating really bad.
Yeah.
I was smoking. I remember, and I'm like the day I saw it, I'm like, and it was a bad movie, and that's how I felt with the weather. The weather. The weather. Oh, you know what? The weather perfectly explained the movie. It was a dark, bad, terrible movie on a terrible day. It was a bad movie. It was a terrible movie, Apocalypse. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
How could they butcher such a great villain? Like, seriously. And you know what? Had a great that movie had a great cast. It's just I think some of the people tried in that movie. I don't think Jennifer Lawrence did, but I think some of the people tried. I just think the writing, it was bad. Apocalypse looked like Ivan Ooze. Arkham? Yeah. Oh, Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse. That was terrible. You know what they should have done with X-Men Apocalypse? If you want to build up Apocalypse, you don't have to go down the road like 20 movies to like Thanos. But if they're planning like 3 or 4 movies, start with the first movie or second movie. Plant the seeds for Apocalypse. So do something. Plant the seeds.
Yeah. I think at that point it was just showing that the X-Men, the Fox X-Men, it just wasn't working. Like you needed them in the MCU. I think that's why.
First Class and Days of Future Past were good movies. Like, they were
Mhm.
good movies. And then those two came out.
Like I think it just should have stopped at Days of Future Past. Like to be honest, like that movie feels like an end. Like you brought back the characters, from the original movie, and you didn't really need to continue it. Like that could have been the Logan for the X-Men, and then you can have Logan, right? Like that's the way that I see it. Like you have two different.
And
I
they
mean,
did
yeah, it
nothing.
would be. Yeah, you
They
did
did
nothing. Yeah.
nothing. They did nothing with Mr. Sinister.
No, yeah, they set him up, and then it was like, yeah,
What
they
the
just
hell?
dropped it. Like in my opinion, I think the MCU should definitely tackle Shadow King or Mr. Sinister just because we haven't seen them before, and I mean they're quite interesting villains, so
Sinister
Yeah,
could be
Mr.
the one.
Sinister needs to appear, definitely.
Sinister
yeah.
could be experimenting on mutants or something,
Hmm.
or maybe this is long-term plans. It's not going to happen. Apocalypse happens in the MCU. And Mr. Sinister is responsible or something like that. I don't know. I mean, Apocalypse MCU has to be built up, not to the extent of Thanos, because they're not going to take. I don't think it's going to be like a decade, but they should build up. If they did Apocalypse, they have to build him up because he's at top of
Yeah,
the.
I mean it's still. I think it's still early days
Of
for
course,
that. You gotta set them up, and
and
like
it's,
Mr. Sinister makes sense for a smaller scale kind of villain just because it's you could change them up a little bit and it fits into their new origin. It's going to be interesting what they do because like I feel like they like what they're probably going to do what they did with Spider-Man with the X-Men. Like that makes the most amount of sense. Just like kind of ground them in the the MCU to make it different. Um, I just think it's taking way too long. You know what I mean? Like
I,
you
I,
should have already had one out.
I agree.
Mhm.
I feel like that you got to do something different because we've gotten two different X-Men franchises, and like I feel like you got to do something a little different, at least for like the first two movies.
Yeah. Even make it like I was saying they could just make it a series. Honestly, I think a series would work better with the X-Men because the X-Men is so episodic. I know they're doing the animated stuff revival, but it's like I don't know, like I feel like the X-Men like just doing them as a movie, it just doesn't feel fresh anymore. It feels like pretty standard. Like a TV series that's like high budget and is on, comes out every year, that would be much more interesting. And then maybe you could have a movie like once in a while. Like maybe you could set up Apocalypse in the show and then build and then have a movie centered around him, right? Like sort of like they should make the X-Men movies like the Avengers movies, right? Like
Yeah,
they're events that happen once in a while, but they don't come out like every 2 years, right? Like Spider-Man. That's like my main concern with what they're gonna do with X-Men because it's gonna get real stale, right? Like because it's either you're gonna rotate people, right, the roster, and then people aren't gonna have attachments to the characters because you're changing them so often, or you're all the main characters. I mean, like they're not. I don't. I feel like Cyclops is probably not going to be in the first movie. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they might do the second team, the giant size X-Men team because it makes the most amount of sense. It's the most diverse, and a lot of those characters haven't been on screen. Like I know we had Banshee, but like Banshee was like in one movie, and then he just like disappeared,
well, a lot of
right?
them,
And like
a lot of them did in the first.
Sunspot, or there's a lot of characters you could do. So yeah, I don't know. Like I think that's gonna be like their make it and break moment because if they don't do so well on it, then like it's gonna be kind of disappointing. And they have a lot riding on them. I know it's the MCU and they're successful, but I think that's gonna be like a huge test on whether or not you could bring the X-Men universe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to other rogue galleries that we have not talked about. We talked about Flash, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, and X-Men. There's others out there, from DC and Marvel or any other comic book galleries out there.
Mhm.
Or so, George, we'll go with you first.
I think like the third most interesting rogue gallery in Marvel's probably the Fantastic Four.
Mm.
I think like if there's like a rogue gallery that's like next in Marvel after Spider-Man, X-Men, it's the Fantastic Four. I'm not just talking about Doctor Doom.
Oh yeah, Mole Man and yeah, Surfer, not Silver Surfer, but like
Galactus.
Galactus, I guess. Yeah. What do you, Lambrill? What about you? I know you have some.
Yeah, I was saying, like in my opinion, I think the Hulk has a pretty good underrated rogues gallery. It's just kind of unfortunate because it's like in the movies you don't see them. You know what I mean? Like the leader and obviously all the different Hulks, Red Hulk. You know, so it's like I kind of want them to push more with the Hulk because there's a lot of interesting stuff. Like to some of his villains, I mean, the Hulk is a villain himself, right? Like the Devil Hulk, Joe Fixit. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the Hulk, so it's like I understand obviously the rights with Universal and stuff, but I think it's starting to like they definitely need to like fast track something. Um, yeah, I think it's taking way too long. I mean, you look at like they even stole some of his villains, right? Like Absorbing Man was a Hulk villain, but he's on Agents of Shield, right? It's like what the hell. Um, and Abomination was kind of like wasted in my opinion. Uh, Wendigo, there's a bunch of characters like that are with the Hulk. I mean, it's just disappointing me because I really love the Hulk and like he's been like especially with Mortal Hulk that just came out or just ended. Like, what are you doing, Marvel? Like just make a deal with Universal or something and just
I
give us
know,
a Hulk movie. Like, come on.
I know. I said on Max's channel last night because we were discussing She-Hulk and Daredevil. If Daredevil's gonna be in the She-Hulk show, it's just rumors, speculation right now. And we were like, we
Mhm.
were talking about Hawk in detail. I'm like, come on, why can't they do a deal with Universal like they did with Sony? Like seriously, just do something, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Go. It's like here's the thing. Like if they're able to pull off that deal with like Sony, who is a
yeah,
much more stubborn studio than Universal, it's like why can't you do something similar with Universal to finally like get like another Hulk movie out or two? Like
Yeah.
Sony is, I feel like Sony has been much more overprotective of Spider-Man than Universal is of Hulk. But yet, if Sony's like, you know what, we see the benefit of this, and like they've been so open to this new trilogy, it's like why can't like they do the same thing with Universal?
Hmm.
hmm I think there's, and not just the villains. There's a lot you could do. You could use Betty Ross because they have been using some Hawk, like characters like, um, command, like Betty Ross's father, not Commander Ross, but Thunderbolt Ross. If well, he's not Thunderbolt, but you know what I mean. Becomes Thunderbolt in the Thunderbolts, right? Ross.
Hmm.
They have been using him. They used Betty in What If. I mean, the thing about the MCU, they haven't really dug enough in Hawk's character enough, right? We got Professor Hawk, but like, was that?
Like
What is
here's
that?
the thing, they've never mentioned Betty at all since then. Like what we've gotten was an awkward like romance between Black Widow and Hulk in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Like we've never like What If was probably the first time in over a decade that they've acknowledged Betty.
I remember the time they did acknowledge Betty in. They did acknowledge her in the MCU in Ultron. We were having a party, Age of Ultron. They're having a party after, after
Yeah,
the.
they did mention her.
Oh
Yes.
That's
yeah,
it.
that's right, that's right.
That's the only time they had. The only time they
But like,
mentioned Betty.
other than that, like
Yeah.
as far as seeing this character,
Yeah,
No, we never
interacting with
saw her.
Bruce Banner. No.
What if? What if it's the only time we see Betty? And what
And
if?
it's pretty much Incredible Hulk, just with
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo. That's really it. Yeah,
and that was
Yeah.
like what if during the Phase One era,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. It's a
like
scene from Incredible Hulk. Yeah,
Noah, here's the thing, like they've done like What If has done an interesting thing where it's like characters from like different phases are bumped up like earlier, like Killmonger
Hmm.
but like it's like you can't like bump Betty down to like phase 2 or 3 like to make an appearance somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I saw. I think other vulgarities. Let's talk about. I think one is very underrated. It's the lanterns vulgarity, the Green Lanterns. You got
Hmm.
Sinestro. You got Parallax, which yeah. You got uh, what's his name? I was about to say Atrocitus. Uh, who? Yeah, you know what? Those are the three I can think of the top of my list. I mean, the Star Sapphires, I guess. Oh, the Black Lanterns.
Yeah, Black Liners definitely.
Oh, that was an epic storyline. I think Sinestro how he sees how to rule is by fear instead of will, because the Green Lanterns is powers by will, right? That's how they manifest their rings, right? By will. Where the Yellow Lanterns use fear to manifest their stuff, right? And that's how Sinestro tries to rule, right? He wants to rule things by using fear, and you got Atrocitus who wants to try to rule by using anger, right? Like anger and hatred
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And each color represents a different thing, right? From the Green Lanterns. What do you got? What do you think about Green Lanterns villain Will Gallery?
Yeah, it's always been like in the comics. Like I mean, Jeff Johns like killed it with Green Lantern, and it's like there's your blueprint. Just take his stuff and make a TV show, but they're like dragging their foot on the show. So it's like,
I don't know. I
Yo,
know.
like we were supposed to get a Green Lantern movie 2 years ago that like never even got a cast.
yeah. I mean, they scrapped that and they're doing the TV show. They casted Guy Gardner, and then that was it. It's like we haven't heard anything for
Oh,
almost a year.
It's like I don't like it's like Green Lantern to me has become the new neglected franchise like when it comes to DC and like media.
Yeah, and it's because of that movie. It's because of the Ryan Reynolds movie. They're like very. They don't. I think the problem is they don't know what to do with Green Lantern, and I mean I think the easiest solution is merge the Jeff Johns comics with the Earth One Green Lantern. Like the Earth One Green Lantern was very modern. It's very different from the comics, so it'd probably work visually better in live action. And you guys should check out that comic. It's a really good comic. So it's like, you know, I don't know what Warner Brothers is doing and what they're thinking. Like just you know, just do it. Like come on, it's not that hard. Like get the right team, get off Greg Berlanti. Like I'm sorry to say, but he's not the right person for that. Like I wouldn't
no.
even say get Jeff Johns. You need someone who's like I wouldn't say not James Gunn. Obviously, James Gunn is a little too humor oriented, but it's like you need someone who's like really good with space operas. You know what I mean? Like you need someone who has that level. Like get like someone that did like The Expanse. You know what I mean? And like give them the material. Get like a fuck. Just get Jeff Johns. To like supervise them. Don't let him have any creative input. Just let him be like an executive producer. But like they need to stop with Greg Berlanti. Like it's getting like holy crap. He's on like everything.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, and I'll say one more Will Gallery I liked, and I wanna get your idea on something I talked about Thursday, or your guys' thoughts. Um, Actually, two Will Galleries. I do like Thor's Will Gallery to a certain extent. I mean, I like Loki and Hela.
Mhm.
That's it. I mean, the MCU movies didn't do a particularly great job with some of the Thor villains. I also do like,
Yeah, like
um,
Malekith.
yeah, Malekith. Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Well, that movie had other problems besides Malekith, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
oh, what other Will Gallery? I do think Captain America has a very decent Will Gallery from Red
Yes, he
Yeah.
does.
Skull, Baron Zemo. I guess Madam Hydra is considered Captain America. Crossbones. He has a very solid Will Gallery. But yeah,
Mhm.
any other Will Galleries out there, and then we'll move on to something else. Anyone else?
For DC, let's
Or
see
any
for
of them.
DC.
Anything. Well, we didn't talk about Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has a decent one, but like it's not great.
Yeah, hers is not that great. Aquaman's is not that great.
Yeah, the only thing of Aquaman I could think of is like Black Manta and Ocean Master. That's it.
Like those are like the
Yeah.
two most commonly used in like.
Well, you have the trenches and stuff. Like the
Yeah,
trenches,
but,
I think came pulled through.
The trenches.
Yeah, but that's like new.
Yeah.
That's like super new. So it's like, yeah. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered like those are the best ones. I mean, I feel like they need to flesh out, like there's nothing wrong with making new villains. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Like,
I mean, like, what do you guys think of Iron Man? Like,
I can't think of Iron
Yeah.
Man villains except for
There's-
Ironmonger.
and
well,
Mandarin.
there's a lot. I mean, well, I think the problem is the MCU, like they merged Whiplash and was
Yeah.
it Titanium Man?
Yeah.
Ghost was an Iron Man villain. Like Iron Man has
Ghost
like,
was Iron Man villain, yes. And he's
Yeah.
an Ant-Man villain. And a
yeah,
female.
and even Ultron is now an Iron Man villain technically, right? Because of Age of Ultron.
Because they didn't use Hank Pym until like later.
Yeah,
'cause
I mean
Iron Man
Ultron's an Avengers villain, but you know what I mean, right?
villain, yeah.
I mean the Avengers has a pretty decent villains. If you're like talking about teams.
So I was talking about Thursday. I don't know if you caught my stream. I was talking about Hercules in the MCU. So the reason I'm saying about Hercules in the MCU now, this stuff could lead to nothing. But from Eternals, I know we all saw it. But you got Angelina Jolie's character, who is Athena, based off the goddess of war or the goddess of wisdom, ancient Greece or in ancient Rome, whatever. She's Athena, right? Athena, who's like Hercules is the daughter of Zeus, full goddess, not demigod or half god like Hercules. So that's my hint there. Is that a hint of something there? And then we got, well, the movie hasn't come out. The father of Hercules, Zeus, being played by Russell Crowe, is going to be in the Thor movie. So is that a hint that we're going to see Hercules in the MCU someday? Because I think it would be perfect, because I know it's not happening, but I think it would be perfect if Hercules was introduced in this movie.
Yeah, I think he should be because I mean he's a pretty popular character in the comics. Like he's been around. Like if you think about it, so it's like, yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Like he could. I think the reason why is because maybe maybe they don't want to conflict with Thor, but at the same time, I feel like he's different enough from Thor. Like I don't know. I feel like maybe if they get rid of if Chris Hemsworth doesn't come back, we'll probably see Hercules.
I mean, Hercules it was introduced as Thor in the first place.
Yeah.
And my idea if they introduce it in the movie, my idea is have him try to avenge his father if he loves his father. And I like whatever Zeus gets murdered by Gore the Butcher because Gore the Butcher is the God Butcher, kills gods, right? So if he goes and kills his father, you can introduce Hercules this way, and Hercules and Thor can have like a friendly rivalry, They can be friends, but on the battlefield, they like to show up each other, kind of like Gimli and Legolas from Lord of the Rings. You know that every time they're in a battle, they always count how many orcs they killed. They can do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah, especially because like there's rumors that like Gore might be killing off even more like Thor characters in this upcoming film. So like,
yeah,
like Thor's probably gonna need like someone new in his corner since like there's like rumors that like I think Lady Sif and Korg are gonna be among the characters killed off by Gore.
I know Lady Sif.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Damn. I didn't hear that, but that would kind of suck.
I mean, I don't know how true the rumor is, like, but like there was apparently like a rumor that like Gore's gonna like kill more characters off.
Because I know he's we're gonna probably see him kill all of like the different types of gods, that like Zeus and stuff like that. So, I mean, it would kind of suck if they killed off Sif because it's like Sif hasn't even appeared. Like she's been like abandoned, which kind of sucks.
For Loki, she hasn't. She's been in Loki. For Loki, she's been. Remember, she's in Loki. Remember, she's gay. Remember Loki, that loop? He's gay kicking the balls by Sif over and over.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think I mean this has been a perfect movie to introduce Hercules. Perfect. If you like Zeus, Athena, like there's obviously hints of the Greek pantheon. This would be a perfect movie to introduce Hercules. Hercules could be like show up I don't know wherever they are in Asgard and be like, oh no, he's not in Asgard or no who. But the thing is, what would Hercules be doing all these years, right? Because Asgard's on Earth now, so what would Hercules be doing all these years? Be like working as a normal person, like being doing something as just like a regular guy goes to work, strong built guy goes to work, whatever, and then be like finds out his father was killed. I guess where his father was killed by this god butcher, Gore the Butcher. He's like, and goes on a mission to help take down Gore the Butcher, and like went into Thor, Mighty Thor, and like Valkyrie, whoever else joins the team, and be like, I'm here to take out Gore the Butcher. I'm here to kill him because he killed my father. Like, and who'd be like, who's your father? Zeus. And like, you know what? And the thing in the MCU, gods are not treated like gods because they're treated more like aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, what if Zeus? What if no? I would say it was eternal, but Hercules would have been eternal. No, be like, I don't know. You have to like how would it introduce Zeus? That's the question. Like, is he eternal or not? Is he a god or not?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think he's gonna be eternal. They
Could it be Olympus be aliens? Could it be aliens? You know, like Asgardians are considered aliens. I know in mythology, in the Norse mythology, they're considered gods, but in the MCU, they're considered aliens, right? They're like aliens from a different world. Could Mount Olympus be the exact same thing?
I'm not sure. I have no clue. Like I said, the Eternals. I think. Okay.
I'll be right back.
I'll just explain this to the audience, and the thing about the Eternals is like they're like way too similar to the Greek gods, like in the movies at least. And it just kind of ruins everything because it's like how like there is. I mean, he's not Zeus, but he is like the what's his name? Let me Google him. Damn. You know, like he's the leader for the Eternals in the comics, and he's based on Zeus.
Oh,
It's like, yeah, that character is obviously, he's going to be in. I assume he's going to be in Eternals too, right? Like he's such a significant character, right? So it's like, I don't know. Like I really think they're just, I'm really not sure how they're going to do it in Thor: Love and Thunder, like how they're going to kill off all these gods. Like I know they're in it. Like we have the Celtic gods too, which are actually like play an important role in Marvel comics. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see that movie just because there's going to be a bunch of gods. Like I wonder if we're going to even see. I was going to say, what's that character's name? The Black Panther god.
Basset.
Because that was a rumor.
Basset, right? Is that his name? Basset?
I'm not sure. Thought it was something else.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah.
Basset?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I heard something else, yeah. Basset, yeah.
Captain Marvel's going to be in it? Is that the rumor? Captain Marvel's in it?
I heard that too, Captain Marvel. Yeah.
I recently heard something like that.
And she's going to be bisexual or something?
I could see her as like a cameo character. Like really short.
Like in a mid or post credits setting up the Marvels because like this is like technically the cosmic part of the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this will lead because this will probably like the Guardians will separate because the Guardians are in it, so the Guardians will definitely separate from Thor so they could go into their movie. Because I don't think Thor is in Guardians 3.
Yeah, I don't think Thor's in Guardians 3, but from what I heard, I think Rocky Raccoon and Groot are actually in the movie a lot more. And Thor: Love and Thunder, yeah.
I mean, it would kind of make sense. They were the closest to Thor in
Groot especially.
Infinity War and Endgame.
Raccoon especially.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like the Guardians show up as like, and then they kind of like depart, and then Rocky Raccoon and Groot stay. So we'll see how that works.
I'm hoping for a trailer very soon because you know what? I'm actually kind of looking forward to this movie.
Yeah, I
They
think it's.
changed.
Grace Randolph was saying it's going to come next week, but I mean,
So
who didn't someone say it was going to come this week and it didn't?
Yeah, someone
it
said this week.
didn't. It didn't.
I mean, like,
I was prepared for a video. Like I had the title and everything. I didn't make a
Mhm.
thumb.
unless like because like I know like Grace Randolph like said like the Fantastic Beast trailer was supposed to come this week, but due to like things to certain
Yeah,
events, like it got
Oh, yeah.
postponed. So maybe like it could be the same thing with Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know.
I saw earlier in the week Daniel RPK, because Daniel RPK, despite what people like to say, he has like a decent track record for trailers, and so he was saying no. So that's why I was like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen if he's saying no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
I'll
I
wait
can tell you,
until he says something. But
I
yeah,
can tell you, I can tell you one thing, viewers. It's not going to come out during the Doctor Strange trailer. That's not the first time you're going to see it because it'd be like 2 months ahead.
they could do that. I mean, it's
They
kind
could.
of they could do that, but we got the Spider-Man trailer in August, so I feel like
Yo, and we got like the
it's this
second
time.
Spider-Man trailer like a month before the movie.
True, but like in August, that was the first time we saw it. So it's
Yeah,
like usually they want like at least 4 months ahead.
the first trailer is usually for movies. The first trailer is usually 4 or 6 months ahead,
Yeah,
and the second trailer is
it could
probably
be April though. It could be April.
my best bet is April. I'm saying April.
Yeah,
Late,
I
maybe
think April.
late March or early April. Like definitely
Yeah.
late March or April for sure. Because they still have that time period like between that and Thor, because Thor comes out in July, Doctor Strange comes out in May. How good is the comic book season? And from May to July, we got Black Adam, Doctor Strange, and Thor.
Yeah, Black Adam's in July, so yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I feel
we
I
need a
feel
trailer
like
for that too soon.
Yeah,
I feel like with like because like Doctor Strange 2 is like a much like I'm trying to explain it like because of like the number of cameos and like the level of hype. Like I feel like Thor: Love and Thunder. I feel like the trailer like the getting a trailer out's gonna be different from getting a trailer for No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2 out. Like
Well,
it's hard to
I think the trailer is gonna be like Thor Ragnarok.
yeah.
Like
Like
I
I
think
feel
it
like it's
wants
gonna be
that same injury. Yeah,
like I feel like it's gonna be on a similar level of like Ragnarok where it's like it's just hard to explain because like I feel like after Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, we're kind of getting back to Marvel MCU normal. I feel like for a little bit.
I just want to say, I'm talking so much, I'm slurring my words. Holy shit! I was
Oh my
like, what
god!
the fuck am I saying? Oh my god!
I want to say something. Look across the timeline. Morbius. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Morbius. Like seriously, but look at this picture.
Oh wait, when is Morbius? When is
Fool's
Morbius?
Day.
April 1st.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably when you're gonna get the trailer, like the last week of March.
What do you think of that picture? I don't know, man. Ugh.
Yo,
I don't know about this movie.
I'm like, here's the thing, like after No Way Home, like that's the only reason why I'm interested in Morbius because now I'm so interested in like the Sonyverse and like what universe certain things are gonna take place in the Sonyverse.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if like they could not pull the multiverse off in No Way Home, I probably would not would wait to see Morbius.
Mm.
Oh, here's Arkham. Hey, Arkham.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's up?
Hey, how you doing? I
Doing
just got back from Newark.
Mm.
oh, New Jersey. What are you doing in Newark?
Oh, I had to take like it was a homework assignment. I had to take like photos of like strangers and stuff like that.
Strangers.
That's
I just had to do something like that for an assignment too, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, but is it kind of creepy taking pictures of strangers? I mean, like,
My professor knows this professional photographer knows that has these friends, so they're not technically strangers, but
okay,
they're
as long as you know.
friends of this professional photographer. It's not like you're walking up to the street.
Well, I mean, there is street photography. I do street photography.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You could take pictures of people.
in college for extra credit, like all we had to do was watch Office Space and do a essay on Office
Really?
Space. Yo, for a business class, because I was a business major, so it was like management like 110. So like it was like a pretty hard course, and the professor was so salty. Man, he was like, "Okay, we're gonna watch Office Space, and for extra credit, tell me about the work environment and why the characters may or may not be motivated."
Oh man,
Yo, it was the best extra credit assignment ever.
jeez, holy.
Yeah, my teacher is like I'm doing fine in the class, but like she gets very pissed off when no half of the class doesn't show up first or do the assignment.
I don't even want to show up on Monday. Oh my god, I have other shit to do.
What times the classes usually start? I remember I had a class like at 8 a.m. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that used to-
8
that was
a.m.
me my sophomore year. Because I was tired of getting home so late. I did like the early classes so I can get home in the afternoon. Because I
Yeah.
commuted, I
Same.
never dormed, so I had to like take like 2 buses.
oh. No,
Yeah, I was like that. Yeah.
Like I can't do 8 o'clock class though.
no professor likes them. Professors hate them.
The thing is, like, most of the time I was online, and then now they switched, and it's like, oh my god.
Well,
It's
here's
like-
the thing. I was so lucky that like my second semester, my sophomore year, my 8 o'clock classes, like my 2 professors were actually really cool and like really fun and interesting. So like it was actually worth like getting up super early just to get to class, and they were pretty good classes.
Yeah. Yeah, I like 8 o'clock classes. They got lectures. They're mostly lectures. In Toronto, some classes go like 3 hours.
Yeah,
And-
we have 3-hour
Like
lectures.
the second day we would have a class, like the Monday, Wednesday classes on Wednesday, like the class could be over from like a half hour to 50 minutes. Same thing with the Thursday class.
That's
Yeah.
lucky, man.
Because professors don't want to go that long. They don't want to go 2 or 3 hours. They don't.
Like the first day, which would be
I
Monday. and
prefer
Tuesday.
they do because I hate this like 2 classes thing where you have the same class and they're split between 2 different days. I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that too. I know what you mean. Yeah, I hate that. Like the 3-hour classes bug me the most because I have to commute, and then it's like I have one class for the day, and it's like I got to go back, and it's like it's such a waste of time. It's like I have other stuff to do, so it's
the
like
thing is,
I really don't want to go.
what I love about downtown Toronto during going to school during downtown Toronto, because I went to George Brown in college.
Mhm.
What I love about that is it's downtown Toronto. When I don't have to, when I have classes or 1 or 2 classes in the morning, 8 a.m. or like, let's say from 12, because sometimes you have 12 to 3 p.m. I love going down to like the stores and the malls, like in the afternoon or whatever, or noon, because it's good. But if I had classes that go from like 2 to 5 or like 3 to 6, oh, that's the worst because it's rush hour, and I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, though that's like the worst time, like especially when I gotta go on the bus and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like the subway and shit. Like it just gives me anxiety. Like I hate going on the TTC, man. It's fucking nuts.
Sucks.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
it
my last semester, like before graduation, one of the last classes we had to take. Most of the class got caught cheating on like an online like take home test.
How?
Yeah, you know what they do online now? Like this is like one of the most frustrating things. Like we had for the last 2 years online, right? And like most of my professors, they're just like, it's all open book. Now all of a sudden, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. It's like, what the hell? So you guys knew that everybody's freaking cheating. You allowed it, and then now we're in person, and you're just like, yeah, well, we're not gonna. We're just ignore that we all did that.
It's the same
like-
thing with me. Like
Stupid.
I have this math class, and when I took the quiz and tests online, oh, it's all open book. Like you can do
Yeah.
whatever you want. But now I'm in person. I can't use any of my notes and all this. That's bullshit.
But,
Yeah,
like,
it is.
so-
I agree. It's just really dumb. It's like, so you knew everybody's cheating, so it's like it's like, oh yeah, but we're gonna catch you when we're in person. And the thing is with the in person, right? Like I just don't want to go because of COVID. Like I got COVID. I'm paranoid about getting it again because I know after like 90 days you can get it, and I have the vaccine, and it's like I still got it, and I was extremely pissed. But yeah, it's like I just like, especially because I have to commute and then commute back. It's like we were online for 6 weeks, and then you want us to go back in person for 6 weeks. Like, what's the point? And then last minute, I was pissed. Last night, one of my class, they were telling us, oh, we're gonna do in person. They flipped back to online, so it's permanently online for the rest of the semester. It's like, what the
So,
fuck? It's like, holy shit.
well, my situation was like a year before COVID because I graduated in 2019. Basically, what happened
Mhm.
was like it was like this business simulation class, and so there's the simulation, then there's the questions. Most of the class, apparently, what they did was they paid like other people to take it, and because
Oh
of how
shit.
quick, and because the test was kind of timed, like because we had a week to take it, like based on how quick the questions were answered and how the simulation went, they got caught.
Mhm.
So me and 7 other kids were the only ones that did not cheat because we took our time. We actually did not pay people to take our test. So even though I got a B minus on the test, I got a B plus in the class because I took the B minus instead of
How
taking a
can they know
0
if you
for
cheated
for
or not
cheating.
online?
Because the way it was timed, like the way they answered
Analytics.
questions
Mhm.
that should have taken longer to have
Yeah,
gotten answered.
they could find out by
And
analytics.
then
Yeah.
and then in the other business class, because it was the same course, only 12 people did the test the right way. The rest got caught cheating, so we got another class in trouble.
Fuck.
And this was like the last class you gotta take before you graduate. So many people were jeopardizing their graduation.
Yeah,
Like,
jeez. Oh man.
let's be honest. In school, like people are gonna cheat no matter what. So what's the point of making it not open book? Just give them
I
give them
I
the
feel
answer.
like just don't give us tests. Like it's like tests are just memorization. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
totally.
just like
Like I'm in a game design major. I don't need this kind of like the one thing my game designer professor always tells me is you don't. There's no point having tests or anything like. It's all about
yeah,
memorization. It doesn't show. It doesn't tell you what you learned through the whole course. That's
yeah.
why.
Like for some stuff it works, but like my major is criminology, and it's like we're
Please
mostly
have
just
that.
writing. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I
Like
don't get it.
with tests, like the reason why my professor always gives me projects and stuff like that is like projects or essays tells you what you learned through the whole course and everything like that. Like
Mhm.
I hate these. I just don't like tests. Like even with math, math. Like if we're gonna do tests, just give people open book. People are gonna cheat no matter what with math. Let's be honest.
Yo, in a social
Yeah.
studies
It
class
is
I had
not
to
true
take,
because like I have a friend and he's in college. He's same college with me, and like we're right in the class, and he has his phone open and he's cheating, and the teacher doesn't notice. So like
Yeah,
Oh,
that reminds me in high school. You know what I did in high school? There was one time it was a psychology class, and we were all like sitting in the back, and what happened was I forgot we had a test. I was like, "Fuck, we have a test! Holy shit!" So I'm like, take the textbook that had all my notes, I drop it on the ground in front of everybody, right? And I'm like, "Whoops!" Because the test started, and it has the notes wide open. So I'm just looking at the ground, and like, the professor, she didn't care. She's just like, whatever, and everybody was looking at it. It was fucking hilarious.
you
We're just
didn't
like,
care.
"Whoops." Yeah, because I'm like, yo, everybody was. I was like, fuck, there's a test. I usually study, and I have no clue why I blanked out on it. Anyway, right? And so I'm like,
you know
just
what I
just
usually
fuck it.
do? Like if it comes to the last option, I have my phone. I have this app called what was it? Everyone tells me about this app. I think it's called Photo Map and stuff like that. And you
Mhm.
just picture the photo, gives you the answer, and I'm done within 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Yo,
like in university, I can't do that though. Like I would get kicked out, so I'm not gonna do that.
another assignment I had to do in college was like my first semester ever was like for like a social studies American government course. We had to compare something to American history to something we knew. So I was like, I'm gonna compare Star Wars to the American Revolution, and I got a B plus on it because I did like a paragraph or two on how Anakin Skywalker was Benedict Arnold,
Oh man, that's
and I got
hilarious.
Yeah.
and I got a B plus on it. So like, yo, I had some of the best assignments in my college. I'm not gonna lie.
Like I kind of feel like with college or with school is like I don't see any point of testing. Like I don't cheat
Yeah.
like anymore, but like I stay hard. But I feel like what's really the point of keeping it not open book if half of the class is cheating? Like I'm not cheating, but like you're finding students cheating over tests anyway. So like, what's the point?
Hmm.
It's like, yes, it's based on memorization. Just keep it open book. Like, like I see people get away with it, and like that's cool and all, but like it's like, what are you accomplishing? Like,
Yeah, like I just don't cheat. Like there was like one of this guy I used to work with. He told me a story because we go to Ryerson together, same school. So he was telling me how uh in the class Discord, I think they were like posting notes, and everybody that was in that Discord, they failed. It was crazy. They found everybody in the Discord and they failed them. It was
Oh my
insane.
god, that's
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why like, because when they're in class, they're always like, "Oh, what's the WhatsApp or what's the fucking Discord?" I'm like, I don't join it because I don't remember that story. Like, if you're in a Discord and they're passing around notes, you're gonna get failed. They're gonna fail you, and it's insane because it's like you don't even need to look at the notes, but since you are in that Discord or in that chat, they're just gonna be like, "Well, you're involved and you have it." So it was insane.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the best thing they could just did is just DM that person not being in that Discord server. Like,
Yeah.
did they ever think of that?
yeah.
Yeah, whoever passed it should have gotten, yeah, but like everybody they failed. It was insane.
Even people that didn't probably didn't cheat.
Yeah.
Maybe just people in the Discord server probably didn't even cheat, got failed, and be like,
I don't even know how they found everybody in the Discord though, but they somehow did it.
maybe a rat, or maybe people are just
Someone.
word of
Someone
mouth.
was a rat, yo. Dude,
Yo, one of
I
my
totally
professors,
believe that.
one of my
It could
professors
be.
was like,
I mean,
I remember a
Right.
story
Yeah,
one
go.
of my professors like told when like back in when she went to college. It was also around the time you were allowed to like smoke in the classroom. So like during a test, like
oh my god.
the smart kid would like do certain things with like his cigarette or how he would inhale, and that was like either A, B, C, or
All
D.
this time, yeah,
So
yeah.
like he got caught helping because this guy also never smoked
See,
until then.
students think, I'll tell you one thing. Students, university professors, or teachers are dumb with the kind of stuff. You know they don't count.
Yeah. They don't catch on. I'm telling you, some of them are like, it's insane. I'm trying to remember. That reminds me of another story. Fuck. God damn. Okay, this was it. This was it. It wasn't as funny as this, but it was still pretty stupid. This one professor was telling us how this guy, in order to increase the workout, what he would do was he would like write what he needed to write, and then at the end, he would write a bunch of bullshit and then just change the color to white. So like in it would check it as like you wrote 1,000 words, but like the professor would look and be like, "What the fuck? This is not 1,000 words. How is it 1,000 words?" And it would just trip him up. I thought that was hilarious. Like that's a
Yeah.
fucking troll. Like, oh man. But anyway.
Yeah, like I remember the time when I was in high school with high school. Like for some reason, it's always high school, but college is more stricter with tests.
Yeah.
But like with high school, I saw like half of the class. Usually, people do buddy to buddy. Like you have a friend that does very well in that class and for tests, and I saw half of the people cheated. Like the whole
I
class.
that reminds me, in high school, I had a friend who it was like it was calculus, the last course and stuff. This guy, he had like enough of the teacher's like bullshit. So what he did was for the final answer, he drew a big fat dick on the paper. Like he drew a detail and everything, and it was like, and then he wrote like "suck my balls," dude. But at the end, this is like when we're supposed to graduate, right? And he's like, "I give no fucks, I don't care," right? And he's like, "So,
Yeah, he's well style.
dude, we
No.
did shit like that, dude. It was
No,
hilarious."
and I thought what my friend did was bizarre in a political science class we took. So like we had this test. It was like actually during the winter, so it was like just one class like for 1 month. So like the professor, like he has a sense of humor. He was joking around saying, you could do the test in crayon. You could do it in Mandarin or Chinese or whatever language. My friend brings a crayon to do the test and does the professor actually was fine with that.
What the fuck?
Yo, meanwhile, some other kid was like, "Are we really doing the test in Mandarin?" He's like, "No, we're gonna do it in Latin." He's like, "Wait, Latin?" He's like, "No, we're gonna do it in Greek." And the kid
Hey,
thought they were
Snyder.
doing it in Greek.
Holy,
The professor was just trolling, and this kid thought like they were literally gonna do it that way.
no
Oh my
man.
goodness.
That's hilarious. That's
Oh
hilarious.
jeez.
Yo, my friend that did the test in like whatever language, like during a snowstorm, because I knew him from the school newspaper, he takes the skeleton decoration and puts it and plays with it in the snow.
Oh man.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
My senior year was crazy. Like half of the students, like, like a lot of the students when they were done, like they had very choice words to say. So like like I remember my friend. Oh, my friend hated this teacher. He hated this teacher so much. So like I think what he did is at the end of the semester, like he you know when the doors open and stuff like that, like what
Mhm.
he did is he had a bunch of change and he glued it to the floor. And then on and the door wouldn't freaking close, and the teacher got so pissed off it brought the principal off. Principal got
Oh
my friend in
man.
trouble, and the principal was laughing like hell.
Oh jeez.
Snyder Steppenwolf. We talked about well, not exactly Wolverine villains. We talked about X-Men villains, and
Yeah.
we only talked about like Omega Red and Sabretooth, but we did not talk about Deathstrike, the Stake in the Sun, Ominous, or Dog.
Did you guys talk about who's the best rogue scary?
Yes,
Yeah,
did.
we did. We
I know
said
what you're gonna
Batman.
say. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Batman.
obvious Batman does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty obvious.
I want to know hear your thoughts on it, or I know your, but why?
Like I feel like the characters of villains are very unique in their own way, so they're very intriguing. Like I always was fascinated about the Joker, to be honest, because like you don't really know his name. Like he has multiple origins, and how the Joker challenges the Batman is very intriguing. Like he's not like he goes about Bruce strength and stuff like that, but like it's like yin and yang. Like when you think of Batman, you also think of the rival Joker, and he challenges the Batman, um, in like a kind of psychological aspect. Like with Bane, like that's Bruce strength. Like like for me, like reading multiple comic books, like I know like Batman, Spider-Man, and like Superman, and whatever. Like I feel like his road scary are more intriguing and has like a lot of depth and stories to the characters. That's why I think they always are the best. Like Scarecrow,
Mhm.
like he is a pretty cool character, and finding out his origin and like Batman, like you have the fear toxin and Batman fighting the demons to defeat that character. Like
Yeah.
each character is unique in their own way, and I feel like that's what puts them atop.
Yeah, Snatch, that what we kind of agree on here. I agree.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
For me,
For DC and Marvel, who has the best world galleries? Well, obviously Batman for DC, and I do agree with Spider-Man for
Yeah,
I agree,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
Yes.
and Batman.
Avengers.
everyone
world
loves
gallery.
Batman. Like, I know people complain about Batman, but like, you can't complain. Like, I understand people complain about like, oh, Batman gets too much comic books, like, or too much movies. Technically, it's not Warner Brothers' fault. It's who wants the director who comes up with the idea that wants to make this movie is the director himself. Like if you want to blame anyone, blame the director because like I understand people hate Warner Brothers, but you can't blame them if a director wants to make different stories with Batman.
Yeah.
A lot of
Agreed.
people like Batman. What can you do about that? You can't.
No, yeah, you can.
Like the director from Dune wants to make a Batman film also,
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve.
and Tom King. I think it's Tom
Microsoft.
King. Tom King is making another Batman story. What was it? Tom Taylor is making
Oh.
a.
I don't know, Crime Syndicate.
Oh yeah, did you see Arkham? Did you see the new writer for Batman? Chip
Yeah,
Zdarsky. Yeah, that was a pretty good choice.
Yeah,
I'm
Maybe
surprised.
too, maybe I don't know.
like DC is getting a lot of good writers and stuff like that. They also, I think Tom Taylor's making a sequel of Deceased,
Yeah, he said that.
That's
Yeah, that's
exciting.
been announced. Yeah,
and
I'm the Chip Zdarsky thing though is like super interesting because he was with Marvel for so long.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, so it's like,
I'm very excited about like this multiverse and these like I'm excited about like the dark enemies and like the death of the Justice League, how like that's on I want to see the story. To me, with these crossovers are very interesting how they make the story. The reason why like Death Metal is the story was so unpacked, and how they executed the story was very interesting.
mm,
That I always liked DC Comics, how they wrote their stories, and they always made like interesting ways how how to unpack the stories and stuff like that. Like with the new Superman story, Superman versus Mongol Sun. Like it's very interesting how finding out how Mongol like how Superman finds out that's not actually Mongol, because Mongol wouldn't start a he's not that kind of person that will start like a war for no reason, and like but this is actually his son, and his son is more ruthless than his father. So that story is very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna talk about school again. No, I'm joking.
We're talking.
yeah,
Yes, on your mind.
there's a lot of stories I could tell.
I remember going
It's
and doing
crazy stuff.
exams. I remember doing exams twice in my high school years. I had to do exams where I had the flu. It's the worst thing.
Oh
Yo,
man,
I got sick like in my school's bathroom 2 hours before my math final.
Oh,
I have
Oh,
the funniest
Jesus.
story. Like, I wasn't really feeling good, so my teacher doesn't remember what people look like. So I asked
it's
my
a bad
friend,
memory.
bad memory. But I asked my friend, can you do the test for me because I'm not feeling good and I want to get on it. And he said okay, and like he said his name was mine, like my actual my actual name's Robert and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
he said, my friend says I'm Robert, and she says okay, I got 100.
oh my god, my god,
Yo.
Jesus, that's crazy. Oh my god,
Were those teachers that just give you like a textbook and be like,
Yo, here's the
you
thing.
did.
Once
Wait,
you
was
get-
that in high school? Was that in high school?
Yeah, that was in high school.
That's crazy because like you could probably do that in college, but like in high school, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Here's the thing in college. Once these professors get their tenure, they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some teachers just give you like open up to this page of your textbook and
Yeah,
just
like-
read and do the work. And they'll
I
even do
feel
the
like
lesson.
that would be just the best.
Yeah.
Like just give like no matter if it's high school or college, just give an open book. Like I feel like that would just stop.
He's not in it. But I like the idea, but he's not in it. I know what happens in it, Snyder. I'm sorry.
But the thing is, for school, like I feel like my middle school years, like even younger, were even crazier. Like so many kids used to do some fucked up shit. Like I'm talking about, like they had a water fight in the hallway for like the whole day. And the professor didn't even the principal didn't come up and do anything, and it was insane because it's like
in my high school, like after I graduated, I found out like my friend has a friend that goes to my old high school, and I found out like there was a fight, and I think someone had scissors and stabbed a person.
Oh my god.
yeah, jeez, yeah, that's
Oh my
happened.
goodness.
Yeah.
And I remember another time, like when I was in a high school, someone like when you have those windows that have barbed wire between it.
Yeah.
Someone got like I think the principal did something or something like that. Got so angry he punched a hole through it,
Oh fuck.
Oh.
and his
shit.
hand was bleeding so much.
Okay, we'll get back to this, but we have to answer this. What do you guys think? I
What
don't
was
think
the
it's gonna
question?
happen. Here's a question.
Also imagine Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider.
He's not in it. I'll tell you that. I tell you once, he's not in the movie.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think he like.
I know for a
multiverse-
fact.
Like I can like the multiverse. You
Well, it's
can
a good
only put
theory.
so much in the movie, and I feel like adding. I would love to see like Ghost Rider, but I feel like it's too soon.
He's not
Yeah.
in it. I know for a fact he's not in it.
Like,
Yeah,
Kind
I'm
of
not-
sucks he's
I'm
not
not
in it.
like you have Dr. Xavier. You'll probably have Captain Carter and stuff like that.
That's confirmed. Yes.
Yeah, Captain Carter. You probably have other like.
I
I think
Okay.
I think
I
it's
know who's in it. I know who's in it.
I think it's possible we'll probably see at least one X-Men or one Fantastic Four.
Fantastic
around there.
Four. Yes.
But like adding Ghost Rider into the mix, I feel it's just too much because like,
Yeah.
It's actually
because
gonna be a lot.
you have all these cameos and stuff like that, and like you don't want to have the movie have like jumble too much. If you think about like have too much in the movie that there already is.
Yeah. I was hoping for a Nicolas Cage cameo. That's all I
Yeah.
was hoping for.
Yes, it
It
is
would make sense
supernatural,
for-
but it is a supernatural kind of movie, multiverse supernatural. But you don't necessarily need.
He's a new character. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything's
Yeah.
supernatural.
It's a little hard to introduce multiple characters. Like we're getting like what 3 or 4 new characters in this movie. So
And there is rumors out there. It's just take a grain of salt. It's called some GFB, giant freaking robots. You know, the website is not exactly the most accurate website, but they're reporting apparently to them that there is casting for perhaps Mephisto, and that's going to be a Giancarlo
Esposito
Esposito.
as Mephisto.
It's just take it a grain of salt. There's nothing else.
I don't believe that, man. I don't believe that.
It's from Giant Freaking Robot. Giant Freaking Robot. Like it got
Yeah.
exclusive in front of every article, and most of the stuff we read on our website is it's outlandish stuff.
They
No,
got
they-
that because Carlo Esposito was I think he was on like I think Kevin Feige mentioned a list of actors somewhere like a long time ago, and he was on that list of like actors that he wants to be in the MCU, right?
Did you guys hear? I think for Hawkeye, like a lot of people are mad now that Kevin Feige cut. I think there was a backstory between Hawkeye that was supposed to be in the series.
You
And-
With-
have to cut a lot of
Oh
stuff.
yeah, they cut it. Yeah. To be honest, I'm glad they cut it because the backstory was pretty bad, in my opinion, from what I saw.
What was the backstory anyway?
It was just like his, like him and his mom, like they were like petty crooks growing up because they were poor. But it's like, I don't know. You should probably have him like be involved with his brother Barney and stuff. So no. What was it? I didn't even see that.
You had a hot take.
What was the hot take?
What was the hot take, Steppenwolf?
He said the hot take I think he's saying is not having the backstory.
Oh yeah. That's it. Yeah, it's probably.
I don't know how that's.
Oh yeah, it's not a hot take. I mean, like the show's not about his origin, so like I mean, you could save that for a season 2. Like I just said, like the reason why, like personally speaking, I don't think that's a hot take because the origin had nothing to do with Barney, and like if you're gonna do his origin, you're gonna have to introduce Barney. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like I'm glad they cut it because it's like Trick Shot is a character I would want in the show. So
one guy
you could do that in season 2 where you introduce.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna do season 2. The one guy that's instrumental as origin was Swordmaster, and Swordmaster basically was like he was in the guy who is Swordmaster in the comics was just there. Like wasn't really do he was.
How do you think they're going to introduce Trick Shot?
I don't think he's being introduced.
You know,
I think they should introduce. Personally, if you want to do the Dark Avengers, you can either do 2 ways, right? You can either introduce Bullseye, which I don't know if they're going to do that just yet, or you make Trick Shot the Hawkeye of the Dark Avengers.
Yeah, because if you're going to introduce the Dark Avengers, you have to do like the origin of Trick Shot.
Yeah.
They should.
I mean, well, but Bullseye is the Hawkeye on the Dark Avengers, right? And I think that's more ideal, but it's gonna take a while until we see Bullseye. Like we're gonna have Daredevil, but like and Kingpin.
And like I know in Dark Avengers, I think you also have Hyperion or something like that.
Well, Hyperion is the Squadron Supreme, which I don't know if we'll get to that point. Like that would have made sense for a multiverse story, but it doesn't seem like they're gonna do that. So
Blackheart would be very cool. Like to me, I think it would be very cool to see Hyperion because, like, imagine a backstory how he actually destroyed his own people and blew up his own planet.
Yeah, like I think the Squadron Supreme should be in the MCU.
Yeah,
like it would. And I'm sure people would lose their mind because the Snyder Bros are going to compare it to Justice League, but that's the whole point of the team.
They did have Icarus.
Yeah, but I mean, the Squadron Supreme is the Justice League of the MC of the Marvel Universe.
Who would go up against them? What would we do? We have team ups.
Yeah, I guess it would be. I mean, right? I know in the comics recently they did Heroes Reborn, which is really cool. It was like, what if like I don't know, like the Iron Man never became Iron Man and Hulk never became part of the Avengers, right? It's like a what if story, but with all the Marvel characters not existing or like becoming villains, right? And so what happens is you have the Squadron Supreme become the Avengers, so to speak, right? And so it's like the DC universe, but in the Marvel universe, it was really fun. They like merge characters, like Blur, which was like the Flash. His villain was a Scarlet Witch, and she was like called the Silver Speedster.
Right. Did you guys see? I think. Did you see Disney's new release schedule?
Yes.
No, I didn't see that.
I'll try to find it.
I'll send it to you. I have it right here.
Oh yeah, just share it with me or whatever. And then we're gonna end it, guys, because it's been a long stream, almost like
3 hours almost.
Well,
I have a stream soon too.
Okay, I just sent it to your Twitter.
Geralt. Because Geralt.
Wait, say it again, George.
One Snyder Bro that won't get triggered is because of Geralt, because Geralt has admitted he's a Marvel fan.
Yeah, it's flip flopping. Like it's confusing. Like they could like whatever they like. Like I don't care anymore. But like it's kind of weird. Like you say you're like you. It doesn't look like they like Marvel or something like that. But like then they flip flop a lot.
Yeah.
So here it is.
They do it just to win arguments. You know what I mean? For brownie points. It's stupid.
So 2022 films: Doctor Strange, Bob Burgers. Well, that's Fox, but it's still Disney technically. Lightyear, Thor, Untitled Searchlight, Untitled 20th Century, The Banshees of Inisherin, A Searchlight, Untitled David O. Russell, Black Panther, Strange World, Avatar 2, Untitled 20th Century. You know what's the other thing about Black Panther and Aquaman? Black Panther versus Avatar 2? You know how much money Disney can make with those two films in 1 month?
Yeah.
Yo,
I'm
it's
still worried
crazy.
about Black Panther. I feel like they're still gonna move it.
Yeah, if they, I'm worried about that movie a lot. Like, I trust Ryan Coogler, but like, I from what I heard on the first movie, Ryan Coogler and Kevin Feige kind of bumped heads a little bit, especially with that
wow.
ending. Yeah, because they changed the ending like dramatically. That's why it.
Killmonger was supposed to live.
What was that?
I don't know about that, but I just know that it wasn't supposed to be like a battle. It wasn't supposed to be a battle sequence. It was supposed to be something a little different, and it was actually, yeah, it was something about Killmonger and T'Challa, and like they were kind of like talking. It was very emotional, like third act, and it wasn't an action sequence. Yeah, see ya. And they were like, I think it was either not testing well, or Kevin Feige didn't believe that it was like, it wasn't Marvel enough, right? So, yeah.
2023. All right, go Arkham.
Yeah, it's just it's gonna be very interesting if they stick their ground with Black Panther. That's gonna be interesting. I'm both worried about the Flash and Black Panther. I don't know if either of them are gonna be good.
I feel like I feel like the Flash has more potential in my opinion, because I mean you're dealing with the multiverse of DC. Like, there's a lot to do, but like for Black Panther, there's Namor. They're introducing Namor, and then you have to now introduce a new Black Panther. Like, to me, that's not. It's not really
also
good.
like there's not a real true ending of T'Challa's story. So how are they gonna?
Yeah.
How are you gonna do that? That's the one concerned. I understand what unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman, but how are you going to finish the story of T'Challa himself? And introducing, you have to do something. There's not really a ending for that character. It's just a big, there's a tiny gap between his story now.
Yeah. 2023, we got the Marvels, Haunted Mansion, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Little Mermaid, Untitled Pixar, Untitled Indiana Jones, the 5th movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Untitled Disney Live Action, Untitled 20th Century, Untitled Marvel. I don't know what that could be. I don't know any other Marvel films being filmed right now. Untitled Disney Animation, Road Squadron. Surprisingly, they didn't say Star Wars Road Squadron. They said Road Squadron. 2024, Untitled Marvels, Pixar, Disney Live Action, Untitled Marvels. Okay, there's a lot of Untitled. I'm telling you, 24, one Untitled Marvels, it's going to be Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yo, I believe that.
Then you have Star Wars, Avatar 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I think for 2023? I think that Untitled Marvel Day is gonna be a postponement day for something if Black Panther Wakanda Forever gets delayed.
Some stuff's gonna be moved, but I'm telling you, 2024, one of those Marvel movies is gonna be the Fantastic Four, guaranteed. 100%.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
I also think Deadpool. Deadpool. It seems like is gonna come sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Do we even know the 2023 lineup? Is it just like Blade, Guardians? We don't know. Okay.
Blade is 2023, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Blade is 2023. Like Deadpool has to like show up. I missed the comment. Oh shit!
I thought that was canceled. I thought Rogue Squadron was canceled.
No, apparently it's left.
No. That's not what happened. What happened was they had creative disagreements, and then I think they went back to negotiations, and now she's back on the movie. So she's focusing on that movie, and that's why she dropped. What's that other movie that she was
I
making?
thought
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra. Yeah, she dropped that movie.
I thought Warner.
They renegotiated. So she's still doing. I know she's doing Wonder Woman 3, and then
I think what's going to happen is Wonder Woman 3 is going to come out before Rogue Squadron. I think that's what's going to happen.
Wonder Woman 3 was supposed to. I thought Warner wanted to come out 2023.
Yeah, it's coming out 2023. I can see that-
Maybe because they haven't said anything yet.
No, because there's been no news on it. Like this knows it's happening, but it's like we all know Gal's coming back, but who else?
No, I remember Gal in the was the interview that they are currently writing the script right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, if they want to make a 2023 release date, they would have to start shooting either mid this year or the end of this year in order to make that time. So
It'll probably come out next year because there's gonna be big updates this year, like after whatever movie comes out. Because usually in August, August probably be DC fandom and stuff like that. So there's gonna be big updates of 2023 movies. So Batgirl's coming out this year, in December. Yeah, because people say it's not a Christmas movie, but it is a Christmas movie because I saw set photos. They have Christmas lights, decorations of Christmas theme, and everything like that.
wait, you're talking about Batgirl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was already said it's in December.
Yeah, and I think Blue Beetle comes out next 2023.
Yes.
What else?
Shazam 2.
Shazam 2.
Those are only DC movies of now.
I think there was another movie that's in progression.
Wonder Twins is in production, but
Wonder Twins, and they'll probably
that's an HBO movie, but yeah.
But there'll probably be a few others. But
definitely.
Well, I think Batgirl is rumored for December on HBO Max this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because the producer was saying back-to-back Keaton, November and December. So unless they change it, they could still change it, but
2 months of Snyder fans moping.
What do you think of the Michael Keaton photo?
That's okay.
I was excited.
It's just, I know it's just a shadow, but the shadow looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, okay, George, last word because I gotta end it, man.
I was gonna say rewatching the Keaton Batman movies. I'm actually really pumped to see Keaton return.
Same.
I rewatched it. I might have been a little too critical, but his Batman, and then rewatching it, he's not actually a bad Batman, to be honest.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your input today, for everything we talked about. Book galleries, school, MCU stuff, everything. Yeah, cheating on tests. I mean,
that was hilarious. Still.
But before I end it, we're gonna go down the horn. We're gonna plug our stuff. So we're gonna start with George. Go ahead, George.
You can find me at Just George. I've been doing Batman reviews. I recently reviewed Batman 1989, and tomorrow I'm doing Batman Returns. So, I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and you can find me at Just George.
Arkham.
You can find me at Arkham Gaming at YouTube and Twitter. I do Batman content, video games, comic books, etc.
And George, if you want to proof Arkham's or Blind Bro, if you want YouTube, I know you have YouTube.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you can find me on Twitter, Blinded Braille. I just rant about games and movies and comics, and you can also find me on YouTube under Blinded Braille as well. Look for more content. So it's coming soon.
And thank you all for plugging your stuff. Thank you all for coming on. For me, guys, I have no schedule coming up. Monday, I might do a stream. Tuesday, I am doing a stream. Thursday, I'm probably not do a stream because I'm going to see Batman that day. So I won't probably do a stream Thursday. Most likely, if I had to put a percentage on it, 10% chance I will do a stream. So don't bet on it. Don't put money on it, okay?
Mm-hmm. Is everybody going to be
Saturday
on
next
Saturday? For Saturday?
If you see
Yeah.
the movie, I want you on. Like, I need people to see the movie because Saturday.
I'm seeing the movie
Yeah.
on Friday, so Saturday I'll
Same,
see.
same.
Yeah, so everybody here, George, I know you're a little different because you're seeing in the afternoon. So like at
Yeah,
noon.
it depends on like what time like I like come back. So
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, next Saturday is a spoiler review of the Batman. I'm gonna do it around the same time as today, 4:00, probably Eastern time. I think all of us are in the Eastern time zone. Sounds like so.
Yeah.
So I think we're all good. If you're, but yeah, that's Saturday. And make sure if you want to pal, make sure you've seen the movie, man, first, so we can have a good discussion about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're going to talk spoilers, right?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. That's what
I
spoilers
Okay,
do.
good.
I've
Okay.
seen people like that haven't seen the movie. I don't think these people seen the movie saying like I saw a YouTube video saying the Batman is the worst Batman movie ever. It's like have you seen like I seen like other people on Twitter. I think Daniel Rickman saw it. Probably a few other scoopers and
I know
probably
so. Yeah,
other
Yeah.
people that they said positive things. So I feel like
I know one person shitting on it. I know the people are shitting. on it.
Arkham, I have a quick question. I think I found your channel. Is this the link to it? I have it in the private chat.
Let me check. Let me check. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay, because
Yeah,
I'm posting it in the chat so people can.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah,
Braille, do you have a channel link that I can like?
I'm on my phone, so it's okay. Next time I'll have it ready.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so yeah, thank you all for coming. See you Tuesday most likely. I don't know when to talk about Tuesday, guys, because to find something. Remember Tuesdays.
Hopefully the trailer drops.
Yeah, if that drops, yeah, that's definitely talk. I'll have a video planned for that. So yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays are always known as my general topic days. I mean, it could be about anything really. Saturdays are always my review days, unless there's nothing to review. They become a general day. Just to let you all guys know. I know on the panel, people on the panel, and people watching or live or coming onto this channel and watch the stream after it's been broadcast. So yes, like, share, comment, subscribe down below. Or that Aaron Warrior AW in this faction or else.